Welcome back to Macrodosing. We got Arian in the studio.
Whoa.
We got Mad Dog's birthday.
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Woo!
Woo!
Happy birthday, Mad Dog. Happy birthday.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
I flew down for that. We finna turn it up tonight.
I know. I'm excited for the Mets game tonight.
Are you doing anything crazy? You got anything fun planned?
Hanging out with you guys.
We're the fun plan.
Cool. So yeah, it's good to have you in studio. Glad that you're here. We got Jon Taffer coming up in a little bit. We're going to get into a lot of stuff. Bar science, bro science with Billy. Nfts. Talk about labor in America a little bit. It's a far-ranging conversation, about an hour with Taff Daddy.
It's a good conversation. I like that.
Hopefully, we're going to be able to do a bar rescue reconnaissance thing. It's been something that we.
Bro, you gotta. I didn't emphasize this enough in the interview, but like I used to binge watch that shit all the time. Like,
probably the best. What would you say are the best, like most binge-worthy TV shows? I'm talking like before Netflix became the place to go for binging.
Bro, Cops.
Cops was the OG. I think Billy's right.
Cops was fun before like you became cognizant of the situation in America.
Well,
now it's kind of like I can't. This isn't cool.
we was always on that though, Billy. We was always like we definitely watched, but it was like, yo, fuck these dudes. Like that was our stance. I know people were rooting for him, but we weren't.
It was fun. It like never mind. It was fine when it was a white dude getting chased down.
I think
You have him on your head for that one.
I think Billy's right that Cops was like the original binge TV show, even going back to like the mid '90s.
I don't know, man. You know them sitcoms, like a Full House or Family Matters.
Would they do
them type Jones?
Would they do like a marathon of those? It was always like a big deal if there was a marathon, though, right?
You
like,
might be right.
Cops was regularly scheduled as marathons.
Well, I tell you, I would come home from school when I was in like middle school, and King of Queens would have 9 episodes in a row, and I would just sit down.
I agree with that.
I bet I've seen every episode of King of
I
Queens.
agree with that. Yeah, King of Queens was my shit.
But then Cops got stepped up to the red zone of Cops, Live PD.
That's right. Yeah.
Live PD.
They should upgrade it. We should do Feds.
Yeah, the FBI. That would be interesting.
Hunting cops, busting crooked cops.
That would be fire. I'm with that one.
Law and Order. Law and Order was a big binge watch thing on TV.
SVU was fucking grotesque though.
If you made, yeah, it was.
That was a stomach turner, man.
It was there. Somebody posted a picture of one of the prosecutors, and she was wearing her softball uniform from when like the SVU people had their softball team on the show. It was like SVU against like, I don't know, internal affairs or something like that in softball. And the softball uniform just said sex crimes on it.
Oh my God.
That's all it said on it. It was just sex crimes.
Someone made a mashup, a video of Ice Cube, Ice-T. Every time he was like surprised of what was going on, he was like, he did what?
Yeah, send me that. I want to see that.
Because he's just so surprised every time.
Yeah, send me that. I want to see that.
It's like, that's one sick dude.
The John Mulaney joke about that's really good.
You want to say it? I don't know that joke.
I'm not going to do his joke.
Do a cover joke.
Nah. He just talks about how he works in the sex crimes division and is surprised every single time that there's a sex crime.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good joke, Big T.
Now do the Chris Rock bit.
I don't even know what that means, dude.
What other shows would I binge watch as a youngin'?
I just started watching Seinfeld. That's a very bingeable show.
It is.
It's just like you just don't have to pay attention to anything.
You know what's crazy? I've tried for so long to get into that show.
It's a good
and
take.
I just cannot see it.
Really?
I've sat down and be like, I'm going, because I know Jerry Seinfeld is like heralded as a comedic genius, and so like he's heralded like Chris Rock has a lot of respect for him. Like the people that I love and adore put him up in this pedestal like he's just the great. And so I was like, okay, I gotta, just out of strength and respect for the people that I love, I'm gonna sit down and watch this. And I've done it at least 5 different times where I sit down like I'm gonna watch Seinfeld, and I just don't get it, dog.
It's kind of a New York humor.
A little bit. Do you watch Curb?
Yeah.
So
that shit funny.
Yeah, so I think what people realized is like, wow, Larry David actually had a lot to do with how good Seinfeld was, because like Seinfeld is Curb, just like a little bit earlier and a little more sanitized. The storylines are pretty similar, where it's like, oh, there's a big misunderstanding, and somehow that misunderstanding comes back and pays off at the end, connecting like every other mini storyline that's been going on throughout the episode. Seinfeld's kind of like that. But Big T, you're not a fan either?
No. What do you think of Friends?
So
Because I tried to watch Friends too, and I can't.
right, so
stand it.
growing up, there was one of them shows that used to be on like after school or something like that. So like I would watch it, right? And I used to like it, and I thought it was funny. But as an adult, I tried to watch it because I think Netflix picked it up or something like that, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch a couple of old Friends episodes, and it's like I didn't laugh one time. Like, this shit is not funny, dog. Like I don't.
If you played it without the laugh track, like have you seen those clips? People post clips of it without the laugh track, and it's just like this is the worst.
Yeah,
thing I've
nah.
ever
Like,
seen.
I don't know why I used to like it. I have no idea.
The laugh track is also obnoxious in Friends. It's every 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It makes it impossible to watch.
There was a study or an article that people like watching like Friends, The Office, Seinfeld because it gives them nostalgia to a time where social media and the modern sort of dynamic didn't exist.
Don't put The Office in a category with those shows. The Office is hilarious.
I'll tell you what.
I haven't watched that either.
I used to fall asleep to my TV all the time. The George Lopez show. I would wake up at like 6 a.m. before school and just watch like 3 episodes of that before school. I always thought that was a good show.
Boy Meets World was always the show I watched before
Boy Meets
school.
Topanga, bro. I had the biggest crush on Topanga.
Saved by the Bell. I love Saved by
I love
the
Saved
Bell.
by the Bell.
Mythbusters, the most extreme on Animal Planet.
I used to watch Mythbusters too.
Yeah, Mythbusters was sick.
It was sick. Real quick, we're going to go to the Mets Braves game tonight. Big T is all fired up. He's got his World Series ring.
I don't have it on me. It's at my desk, but yeah, I'm gonna wear it tonight.
You going to go see Blooper?
Blooper doesn't travel, but I've
What's Blooper?
I think he does travel
Bloopy?
sometimes.
No,
What is Blooper?
not to road games.
He's the I think I saw him. Yeah, he was at the Brewers game. Or no, at the Cubs game.
Oh, he's the Braves mascot.
That was in Atlanta.
What
Oh,
is he?
okay.
Like, what is his?
He's his mascot. He's a great dude.
No, I'm saying, what is his character? Like, what is?
He's a large. What's the word I'm looking for? Just a
Ogre?
creature.
He's an ogre.
Very cute guy.
He's ugly.
Awesome dude.
Ugly
what
as
that got
fuck.
to do with Braves?
They just
Well, like we can't have
Oh,
a mascot that's necessarily reflective.
I'm curious. Why
Can
is
we
that?
can we still do the chop? Because I'm gonna be doing the chop. if
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool
you can do
tonight
that.
Against, I hate the Mets.
But Blooper is just a big, ugly demon.
No, he's a great dude.
He's a problem.
He hates Big Cat though. That's why.
really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because Big Cat hates him, so they have like a rivalry.
Oh, but how did this start?
I don't even remember
I think Blooper just started going after Big Cat.
when they were playing the Cubs last year. Yeah.
So it's the same guy,
Yeah.
or is it like a kind of just a tradition?
Well, Blooper is like a big fan. I know he's a big fan of Part of My Take. I think he listens to every episode. He always tweets at us and like says inside jokes to us. So I respect the grind that he's on. But he's developed like a rivalry, more so with Big Cat than with me. With me, it's more like bros supporting bros.
Gotcha.
But with Big Cat, he just calls him fat all the time.
Is he like cousins with the Philly Fanatic? Are they the same species?
That's a good comp. If you know what the Philly Fanatic looks like, he's vaguely
It's the green
reminiscent.
John, huh?
Yeah.
I know that one.
Vaguely looks like the Philly
And I
Fanatic.
think Gritty's like a cousin. I
Yeah.
gotta figure out the
lore.
fauna. I'm gonna make classifications of these weird creatures.
You should. You
That'd
should,
be an interesting blog. I'd read that.
Yeah.
you should dive into that and see like what common ancestors you
Yeah,
have.
they all evolved from the Dutchman.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, the rat.
The Philadelphia Dutchman and his pet rat.
The pet rat is
So
the,
I've got a thing. I love old mascots. Old mascots are like one of my favorite things to look up online, specifically like college mascots from the 60s and 70s when they all looked evil and like so fucking weird. Just like the worst costume designs ever. But there was this one that came out that was one of the original, I think they were the Philadelphia Athletics back then, right?
Yeah, the A's started there.
Yeah, the A's. So their first mascot was this just like old, sick looking Dutch guy with his pet rat that he kept on a leash. And I have no idea like how this person ever was supposed to signify baseball. But if you want to go to a game and hang out with your favorite mascot, we're going to go tonight and we're going to use Game Time. Game Time got us into the Garden on Friday. We had a great time. Don't ask me who won, but we had a great time at the Garden. Avery is the king of Madison Square Garden, by the way.
Whoa.
He knows every person that works there. You've been going there since you were like a baby, right?
Yeah, I know basically all the security guards, everybody there. They've known me since I was like a year old.
Yeah, he's the king of Madison Square Garden.
I've never been.
If you want any tickets, you got to go to the Mecca.
I've heard.
I went to the Mecca twice last week. I went on Friday, then I went for the boxing match on Saturday night, It was incredible.
Which one was the more enjoyable event?
The boxing match.
Yeah.
It was legitimately the best boxing match I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
It was awesome. It was Serrano Taylor, and it was the female lightweight champion of the world. That's what they were fighting for, and it was just nonstop. Just the two people just punching each other in the face the entire time. I gained all the respect in the world for both fighters in that one. But go check it out. Go check out the Mecca. If you want tickets to a baseball game or any other game, use Game Time. They are the official sponsor of us here at Macrodosing and everybody at Barstool. It's so easy. Maybe the easiest part is sharing the tickets. So sometimes if you use another app and you're trying to share the tickets with somebody, there's like 5 steps that they have to jump through in order to download the tickets, save them to their phone. This one was like 2 clicks. It was very, very painless. It was so easy. Great seats. Download the Game Time app. Go to the account tab to create a login and then redeem code MACRO. $20 off your first purchase. $20 off your first purchase. Some terms apply, but download Game Time, last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Make sure when you create your new login, use the promo code MACRO and get $20 off your first purchase.
So, little statistic, the Philly Fanatic is a large flightless bipedal bird that was born in the Galapagos.
Interesting.
Whereas Blooper was...
It's like a finch.
Yeah, or a blue-footed booby. It's a flightless bird.
Yeah, wait, no, blue-footed boobies can fly.
Oh, they can fly. Yeah, they probably can.
The blue-footed boobies are famous for doing their little mating dance.
Yeah.
So when they do their dance, they like just kind of like kick their feet up. It's very cute to watch it. And
It's a random fact, you know.
well, the Galapagos is like my favorite place. I love it.
Birthplace of evolution.
Yep,
The idea.
the
Darwin.
theory. But there's shirts everywhere in the Galapagos that you can buy that just say "I heart boobies" on them, and then there's a picture of a bird.
I actually fall asleep when I can't sleep. I take what's this shit? Melatonin, and I throw on this documentary on YouTube about evolution, and so I fall asleep to listening about Darwin.
You just zone out to it.
Yeah, it's so weird. It puts me to sleep.
You got to go to the Galapagos. You would absolutely love it there. It's
Blooper
the coolest place in
was
the world.
created in a lab. He's a lab experiment.
Okay, he's a lab leak.
Yeah, he's a lab leak.
Well, Atlanta is the home of the CDC.
oh, yeah.
So now we're getting somewhere.
What does he know?
Oh,
Blooper
shit.
is
Actually-
a mutant that was created in a lab in Atlanta at the CDC, and he escaped.
I'm
Probably
tweeting that.
radioactive. Bill, you're tweeting out right now?
I'm saying I have evidence that Blooper knows the origin of COVID-19.
Okay, smart.
Hey, did your banger tweet ever drop? I never.
No, I'm storing it. It needs the right time. I got another banger tweet I'm working
Bro,
on.
you putting it on a pedestal, man.
And it goes-
Let that
it
thing
goes-
drop.
Well, I got caught up with this new one. It goes, therapist. Now, what do we say when the guy with glasses with boobs scares you at night? Guy, the Microsoft man can't hurt me.
Okay, that one's going to big numbers.
Bro, what?
Well, a lot of
I
people are
don't get
scared
it.
of Bill Gates.
Yeah, no, I get that.
What happens when the Microsoft man's chasing you with a vaccine? Microsoft man can't hurt me.
I don't know.
Yo, this
understand.
tweet is ass.
What's the punchline?
Billy's talking about the picture that Bill Gates had.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I know that, but like,
It's workshop. It's a work in progress.
You need to throw that shit out.
is
No,
that like
dude,
a
I'm
meme?
working on it.
Is that a meme format I'm unfamiliar with?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you remember when anti-jokes were a thing? That sounds like an anti-joke.
The Microsoft man, is that part of a meme?
It's Bill Gates.
No, I get that.
It's cheeks, bro. You shelf that
I'm
shit.
working on it.
You gonna lose followers, dog.
Look, I'm literally just like verbally showing you my
You
creative
workshop
process.
You're
a
just
tweet.
you're just hoping to get a retweet from Elon.
Maybe
That's all this is.
Have you tweeted at him?
several times.
Billy, if you can get a retweet from Elon Musk, I'll pay you $1,000.
I'm in on that.
Sweet. Let me work on it. I was
That's not
mostly
put a
trying
bounty. Put a bounty
on his tweet.
on an Elon retweet. Yeah, that'll be your
Get it.
bonus.
I'm in on that.
Before we get into today's topic, also there's something else in the news. There was a lot of people got mad at me late last week because reports came out that the ghost of Kiev had passed away in combat, and there was like an article in the New York Post about it. There was an article in some British newspaper too, and everyone's like, "See, I told you he was real." Even though at first I had to educate Billy when the reports initially came out. I was like, "Billy, this is very clearly not like a real thing that's happening right now. It's okay to root for it, but it's not real." As somebody who has extensive experience in the air combat community, I was able to deduce right off the bat, like, this guy did not get an ace in his first day in combat. Like, you don't shoot down. I know the type of plane that he flies. It's a MiG, and the MiG can only carry X amount of missiles. It's impossible for him to shoot down that many planes that quickly. Now, everybody tried to high step on me last week and say, look at these reports saying that he died in combat. I read through the reports, and all they were saying is, like, many sources are saying that now this is the man that was the ghost of Kiev and he passed away. And it was like you couldn't get a real, like, any bits of details from the report besides the fact he just said he was this one dude. Now Ukraine came out and they said that they made the entire thing up. There was no ghost of Kiev. It was just like the spirit of their Air Force that they just called the ghost of Kiev. So not to like pat myself on the back, but I feel like Billy owes me an apology.
I was literally I said this from the start. I'm rooting for the Ukrainians. I'm going to spread their propaganda. I've said this. I'm a Ukrainian propaganda spouter.
That's fair.
I said that since the beginning.
That's fair if you acknowledge it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question about planes. Cause
I'm an expert.
I know, bro. The other day when y'all was doing that plane shit, that's where y'all got that meme from, or y'all took a screenshot of my face. I was like, y'all really know planes? That's crazy. So growing up, I was my mom made me watch Top Gun.
Yeah,
and I loved that shit. That shit was fire. Why do the MiGs in that movie? Like, why can't they keep up with the big planes? I don't understand. They're smaller. Shouldn't they be able to?
Good question, Arian. That's a great question. The F-14 Tomcat is what Tom Cruise is flying in that movie.
Uh-huh.
And I would say it's like if you drive a really old, sturdy, dependable, never broken down pickup truck. That's kind of what the F-14 is. The F-14 is just like, it's a beast. It's a huge plane.
Mm-hmm.
It's got better weapon systems than the MiGs do to a certain extent. So in the United States F-14 Tomcat, you've got two guys that are there. One guy who's in charge of flying the plane, that's doing all the stuff like, pointing the nose, adjusting the throttle, things like that. And then the guy behind him is in charge of handling the radar and like picking out where all the different planes are that could be potential threats. Okay. So you've got two guys in the same plane working on the same airplane at the same time, which actually makes a big difference.
Only one is actually flying though?
One's flying, but the other is like spotting the other planes, getting radar locks on them, telling them like, okay, go shoot this guy over here. I locked this guy up, go shoot him. Gotcha. So it actually makes it way faster for the pilot to get stuff done when there's somebody else doing all the other things.
Gotcha.
Whereas if it's like a smaller Russian plane like that, they're having to do it all on their own. But yeah, you're right. It's like a smaller plane, so it's like a little bit more versatile.
Gotcha.
And actually, if you took like the best fighter planes from World War II and you put them in just straight up a dogfight and said, okay, you're only allowed to use guns only against some of the most modern planes out there, the fighter planes from World War II would actually kick their ass because they were so much lighter and they were so much like you could stall the airplane intentionally back then and pull off all these maneuvers that you can't do now with these jets that are like super high.
Two more questions. When Goose died, is that like an actual thing? Like, has that known to happen, or was that just kind of like a movie thing?
No, that's it. So I'm glad you asked these questions. The F-14 can enter those types of unrecoverable spins when they go through jet wash sometimes.
Flew through jet wash.
Yeah, and it disrupts the flow of the air over the wings, and once you get into a spin like that, you just can't get out in that giant airplane. Yeah, so that's a real thing that happens.
Damn, that's crazy. I had another question, but I don't remember. So.
Billy, do you have any questions for me about airplanes?
Nah, bro.
No, not even one?
Nah.
Also, the F-14 has missiles that can go a lot further than some of the Russian MiGs do. They've got this one missile called the AIM-65 Phoenix. It's the Phoenix. I know that's what it's called. It's this giant missile that's like the size of you, pretty much. And you can shoot it, and it can hit a target that's like 60 miles away. It's pretty sick.
A lot of invention for destruction.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and they each cost probably like $1 million.
Hey, one of the funniest shits in the world, bro. Unrelated was when Billy was trying to name the planes. He said, "I am going to go with one more." I rewinded that back. I watched that just for that, bro. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
Billy, have you seen Blooper's response?
Yeah, I think I'm getting into it with Blooper right now.
I don't know what you
Blooper,
say.
Billy sent this tweet 2 minutes ago. Blooper replied 45 seconds ago. It took him a minute That's what a king he is.
Bro got on
A minute?
Where is it at?
Billy tweeted, I have evidence that @Blooper Braves is privy to the origin of COVID-19. He himself is a lab leak and may be associated with the CDC in Atlanta. Blooper said, Billy's just mad I can bench more than him. And he also responded to the tweet and said, @Barstool Big Cat, get off Billy's phone.
Nah, man, I'm taking Blooper down.
No, Billy mad that I can bet. He just roasted you, man.
Yeah, he got your ass. He probably can too.
I've just been taking so many L's lately. It's getting crazy.
A lot of L's, man.
I need a dub.
Look at your dub.
Yeah, we got to find Billy a dub. Find Billy a dub. I don't know where it's gonna be. It's gonna be a long look for that dub.
I'm gonna start going by Willie, so I get that dub in the beginning.
Oh my god, that's another L.
No, it's a W.
That's a shitty joke. It's an L.
Willie.
Yeah, it's 2 L's.
I need to get
actually.
some W's.
You should worry more about
Mad.
getting more LBs.
Speaking of letters.
Isn't that sad though that Billy can only bench 20 pounds more than me?
Dude, whatever.
That's sad. I'm old. I'm washed up.
You have short arms.
I got a bad back.
The shortness of the arms don't matter though.
It does.
Oh
doesn't.
wow. I'll trust
How much do you
Arian's.
bench, Arian?
How much? I mean, I haven't maxed in I don't know fucking 15
Can you
years.
bench 275?
That's silly.
What?
Yeah, I can. I don't have nothing to prove to Billy, dog.
Sounds like someone who's scared to get on the bench.
No, it sounds like someone who doesn't want to get on the bench.
Do you think? Because I was going back and forth with DK Metcalf the other week. We have kind of like a rivalry.
Yeah.
And because I beat him in a 40-yard dash one time, do you think I could beat DK Metcalf in a 5-yard dash?
No.
5 yards though.
No.
I feel like my short steps actually benefit me in that sense.
You
in that
couldn't beat
situation.
me in a 5-yard
No.
dash.
Because-
let's not make this about you, Billy.
Every time you take a step, that's when you're accelerating. He would take like 2 steps, meaning he wouldn't have as much of an opportunity to accelerate as I would with my
I like
4
your
steps.
logic, but the force application applies here. The force that he applies to the ground is at a greater amount than you.
You're saying he's way stronger than me.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's only 5 yards.
I mean, I love how you're lobbying for yourself. Do it if you think you can. I don't. My money's on DK.
What about a 1-yard dash?
I don't know how you would time that.
If I got off to a good start, I think I could take him.
I think if you beat him out the gun, that's the best.
Actually-
if you false start,
Yeah.
Actually, that would be if you took a slow motion camera
Yeah.
and put it at a 1-yard mark and made them both start, whose head could get across.
Well, he's way taller than me, so probably.
Right,
not.
but he may take him longer to get out of his stance.
yeah, no, I still think you losing that too.
That's why I was thinking in the 5-yard dash it might have a shot because it probably takes him longer to get out of his stance with his long legs than it would for me.
But you
that's
wouldn't
a
actually be
misconception.
running. You'd be if you were to win. Actually, I'm talking myself into this. I think you might be able to do this.
I think I could beat him in a 5-yard dash.
No, you can't, because like I said, the force he applies, and it depends. Are you guys just on grass? Or are you in blocks?
We're on grass,
Cleats.
cleats,
Yeah, no, I definitely think
Let's make it turf.
turf. Yes.
like astroturf.
No, like
Or
The
like
stuff that you can find
the
in
field turf.
Central Park.
Yeah, no, I think he still beat you. I think he beat you in any terrain.
Guys, while we're talking about athletic competitions, I've been in contact with Blooper, like as we've been talking.
Yeah.
He said, I need to get Billy down here for a bench off.
Yo,
I don't think you have a choice.
he called you out.
God.
He called you out.
Dude,
You can't tuck your tail now.
Yeah,
fam.
Billy, you can't lose.
I
to a
gotta go
mascot.
get that dub.
You can't lose to a
There's your
mascot.
dub. We was looking for a dub. Here you
Go
go.
find that
I mean,
dub.
this is what you do. You fight for Big Cat's honor. You did it with Jose Canseco. That's the last dub
I'll
that you
fight
had.
Blooper.
This is the final boss.
I'll box Blooper. That'd be hilarious.
No, you have-
in his costume.
I mean, I think you have to bench him.
Say costume again.
Costume.
Costume. You should go out, try to outbench him. All right, we just heard a secret behind the scenes. I think Blooper could definitely outbench Billy.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking blooper.
I'm not going all the way down to Atlanta.
What do you mean?
Damn, did he
You
just
say
Take
tuck
another
his
L.
tail. Come on, you called him out.
Imagine if Abraham Lincoln had that same mentality, Billy. To tell you what, Sherman, you don't have to go all the way to the sea.
Imagine.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll sort this out. But I do want you to do that research into exactly where Blooper differs from the Fanatic. And
That'd be a fun little write up, bro.
PFT, you know what I think you need to do for content? You need to get that height surgery that can get you to 6 foot. It's been trending. Well, I think you actually have to go through with it.
Well, what I've learned is that other people care way more about my height than I care about my height.
Sounds like you care about your height.
It would never even occur to me that I was on the shorter side unless everybody else wasn't always like, oh, look at me, hey, PFT, is that you? That 5'3" guy on TV, huh? Like, it wouldn't occur to me.
You wouldn't know that you were short unless people told you were short?
I never, until it became like a running joke, I never really spent that much time thinking about it. I really didn't. Like 5'8" is a pretty normal height, I would say.
Nah,
well, whatever. I never felt it was short. But now
what's the average human height or male in America?
I think it's like 5'7", 5'8".
No, it's like 5'10".
No, it's
it's
5'9". It's 5'9".
Well, I mean, it's gone down a lot.
Sneaky 5'6".
Yeah.
5'6" is the
not
average.
correct.
5'6" is in America?
Yeah.
That's in the world.
It's gotta be
actually
world.
In the world.
Oh, in the
Okay,
world.
do
side.
America because I feel like
Okay.
we're taller here.
It's gotten a lot shorter because of demographic change.
5 feet 9.3 inches.
You talking about immigrants?
Yes, demographic change.
Immigrants are
Yeah, it's 5'9"
skewing
in America.
5'9" in America?
So you're perfectly average.
No, he's an inch below average. What do you mean?
Perfectly. It depends on what shoes I'm wearing.
No?
If I'm wearing my
Shoes off, you
my
short.
Air Maxes, then I'm up to 5'9". If I'm wearing these pennies, then yeah, I'm at 5'8". But no, like it doesn't really occur to me that much. And then this article was going around about this limb lengthening procedure that you can get.
I saw that, dog.
It takes like a year, and they drill holes in your leg bones, and they slowly separate the bone, and then the bone heals into that space. It sounds like the most painful thing ever, and guys are doing it to try to get like an extra 3 inches.
That's crazy.
Which I understand if you're like 4'11", 5 foot tall, something like that, and it becomes like a functional thing where you can't reach certain places. It is like if you're at a grocery store, you can't reach stuff. I can understand, but if you're trying to go from like,
That's funny.
if you're trying to go from 5'8" to 5'11" or 6 feet tall, like that's honestly pathetic. If you just care about if you just like want to be one of the tall boys out there, like you need to. That says more about you than it does about society.
It's a big insecurity.
It's a huge insecurity
Yeah,
thing. Like I would never. I do not give a shit. I'll be 5'8". I'm doing just fine. I'm
doing
as
just
as a 5'8" man. But the only thing is like sometimes other people care about it way more than you do. Like Billy.
Sneaky, my grandfather was close to 7 foot, and all my cousins are way taller than me. So I'm kind of the runt of the litter.
You should get it.
family. So
you like 6'2", 6'3"?
yeah, I'm like 6'3", but like my cousins are like 6'6", 6'7".
Damn.
So, and they were all younger than me, and there was a pipital moment
Used to
where
beat your ass.
Yeah, they were like, "Now it's time."
You should get that surgery, Billy.
I know.
Get up to 6'6", just like the rest of the boys.
The rest of the. What's your last name? Or you can't.
It's Irish.
It is Irish.
Cool.
It is Irish. Any
Billy Irish.
any NFL draft cleanup we want to do? Baker Mayfield's still a Brown.
Oh, he is?
Yep.
I guess they're just not going to trade him.
Oh, you know who we need to talk about? The Saints offensive lineman draft pick. I totally forgot about this guy. He's an absolute psychopath. I was tweeting about him. He's like the type of guy who, in all those drills, like he'll just maul a guy, and he watches a different Saw movie before every game. He's a psychopath.
That's crazy.
Let me find.
That's like Karl Anthony Towns before games. He watches videos of gorillas murdering other gorillas
There's no way
to get himself pumped up.
There's-
Yeah, that's his thing.
I want to know
watches.
where he finds those videos.
Like not a physical
Like
sport.
gorilla
Like,
fights. He watches gorilla fights before NBA games.
There's only
Tough
one.
flop.
There's only
So the gorilla takes a charge.
there's only one good gorilla fight video on the internet.
Billy's
the
found
curator of the.
No, but
gorilla fight.
I actually trust Billy.
He
This-
probably
this
has a
is his
lot.
expertise.
I wrote a blog on this. He must have access to some footage that I can't find, because there's one fight, unless he's watching it every time, he probably gets bored of it. He's got to have more.
Everybody send your best gorilla fight that you found online to Billy.
I'll find the one.
I think I know the one you're talking about. It's in the zoo.
I
Yeah.
definitely haven't seen it.
And they're
Throw it to
saying,
me.
"Get the zookeeper."
Yeah, these two gorillas are just like clobbering each other, like murdering each other. Someone's like, "Someone please get the zookeeper." It's like,
Yeah,
what,
like,
what's
I'm not getting in there, lady.
what's the zookeeper gonna? Hey guys, knock it off.
Trevor Penning is the guy, and he's an absolute beast.
I thought you were saying the zookeeper.
Oh,
The offensive
Send me
line.
that gorilla fight.
Yeah, let me find it.
that is crazy though that he watches Saw videos before every game.
They're just not that good of movies. Like the first one, fired. After that, they get kind of tacky.
The first one was so good.
That was so dope.
And it was like the best plot twist ever at the end that
Yeah.
everyone should have seen coming.
Yeah.
But
I didn't see it.
Nobody
I didn't see it.
nobody that I know saw it the first time that they watched it through.
Yeah.
But when it happens, you're like, oh my god, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude gets
obviously.
up from the middle of the room. I spoiled it. I
No,
did.
no
I
spoilers.
spoiled that shit.
Big T, you got a quarterback?
Yeah. Fine.
Yo, you're a funny cat, man.
I mean, he's not good. Like, I don't know. Is the plan to start not this year? I think this year they're going with Mariota, but like after that, is he supposed to be the quarterback? Because
Yeah, I think so.
that's bleak.
I think you don't like Ritter?
No, I think Willis was probably the best quarterback in that draft, but like I don't think any of them are going to be anything great.
It's crazy that Willis fell so far after we had been told that he was going to get drafted. Like,
Yeah,
high in
I
the
don't know
first
what
round.
happened with him.
We were talking about it a little bit yesterday on PMT, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that next year's class is going to be
Right, and that's
strong,
and that's what I thought the Falcons were doing was we'll sign Mariota, we won't be very good, and then we'll be in position to get one of those guys next year.
yeah.
And then they took Desmond Ritter, which like whatever.
I'll tell you what, I'm happy with Howell. I'm very happy with
What
Sam
round
Howell.
did he go in?
5th. And last year at this time, he was projected to be like first round pick. Him and Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
We're going to be the first 2 picks. Howell took like some steps backwards, but I can still convince myself that he might be good down the road. I just wish that we were called the Red Wolves because having a quarterback named Howell would
Be
have been
pretty sick.
pretty cool. Yeah. This is the stuff I have to think of to get excited rooting for a shitty franchise like that. I have to think of all the dumbest stuff as opposed to just like, can this guy win me a Super Bowl? Because that's so far out of the picture. It's like, wow, no. Like, we're not capable of winning a Super Bowl.
How is your fandom? Like, are you like a fan that like actually like roots for the like, or how, like, you know what I mean?
I have
Because I haven't been a fan in so long, so I
I've-
don't understand.
like conflicting interests about this team because it was a big part of my life when I was growing up. Like, the Washington Redskins were the thing in Washington, D.C. to root for. The entire like community, D.C., Virginia, Maryland.
Right.
It was like something that on Sundays, everything stopped. People would be watching the Redskins games on TV.
Right.
And then Dan Snyder bought the team, and he's such a miserable piece of shit that over the years he has eroded my love of to a certain degree of football because I'm forced to watch his shitty product and everything that goes on behind the scenes. He's such a bad human being, just a disgusting individual. And he's absolutely taken my love out of the game, but I still root for the team because it's so deeply like ingrained that I can't just like stop. And there have been glimpses where like when RG3 had his rookie year, it was like, wow, this guy changed the game of football. He's going to be an electric superstar for the next 15 years. And then that got taken away too. So I like go back and forth. I'm not as deep of a fan as I was growing up because of what he's done, but I still have that glimmer where it's like every time a new report comes out that says Dan Snyder might be forced to sell the team because he's either sexually harassed another person or allegedly, or like committing financial fraud on his fellow owners, then I get really excited about that opportunity to like have something that I can root for without being like, oh yeah, this is the worst person in the world that's running my team. So yeah, it's complicated. I have a very complicated relationship with that team, but I still can't help but root for them.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Just like nothing that I can ever fully stop doing, I think.
Yeah. Is it like, because I know when I got to the league, like I grew up a Raider fan. And so like I used to love the Raiders. But like when I got to the league, like it just stopped. Like I stopped, you know, not because, I don't know, there's just something seeing behind the scenes kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, like has that, to turn this to a fucking interview, but like has that, I'm genuinely curious, has that kind of ruined your fandom? Like kind of, because you're kind of behind the scenes of the sports world almost. Like you get to interview and see a lot of these people. Does that kind of ruin your fandom?
Yeah, a little bit because you get to know all these people that play for different teams, and you realize that like there's nothing really special about the team that you grew up rooting for.
Right.
It's just all individuals that are trying their best to make their own living playing this sport that they love to do.
Yeah.
But it's still fun to root for a team when they play well. You know, like when it's your team that you followed up throughout the years, it's fun to root for that. But yeah, it's now no longer. It's almost like your eyes get open to the fact that there's no like real difference between a person who puts on a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform as opposed to like a Washington Command. They're all like the same people, and you want to root for them equally. I can't hate somebody just because they're like a Dallas Cowboys player.
Rational man. I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Found the video.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent it to you guys.
Sent it? You sent it?
This is the gorilla fight.
Yeah.
All right, let's watch it. Let's get.
Anthony Towns is a pretty interesting pregame ritual where he watches gorillas fight to the death. Would this hype you up for a basketball game? I don't see anything basketball about this.
Yo, there's no way anybody's getting in the middle of that.
Well, you know the Mike Tyson story?
I don't.
Mike Tyson was at a zoo and he tried to pay the zookeeper like $100,000 to let him fight the silverback gorilla.
What the fuck?
Yeah, bro.
He would get his ass whooped. I love Mike. That gorilla beating his ass.
Does the gorilla have hands like Mike?
Better. You crazy? Like I might take a chimpanzee over Mike.
Think about chimps.
Bro.
Really?
Animals are strong, fam.
But does the animal know that they're in a fight?
Threaten his life. He'll know.
Think about gorilla. Like, I don't know.
Tell me, are you saying that a gorilla, Mike Tyson can get a gorilla? That's an insane take.
No, the thing is,
That's an insane
I don't know. I know
maybe
it's not true.
Maybe a chimpanzee, but not a gorilla.
Chimps, I'd rather fight a gorilla than a chimp.
You are fucking insane. You are for somebody that knows a lot about animals. You are the dumbest animal expert in the world.
No, dude, gorillas are not as violent as chimpanzees. That's a fact.
I've seen the documentary about Travis, the chimpanzee.
Yeah, I much rather get beat to death by a silverback's blows than my face eaten off, bitten. Because chimpanzees fight like.
But they so strong, though. Like I don't think Mike can get a chimp. A grown chimp.
Yeah. What about Mike in his prime?
No, bro. Animals are different.
I think seriously, I think Mike Tyson could have a chance if the gorilla doesn't hit him the first couple times. I think he could maybe. I don't know how gorillas' chins are, but if he gets a good punch, he could knock out the gorilla.
I'm gonna guess they've got pretty strong chins.
You're high.
Maybe if he gets like 2 or 3 of those before the gorilla can get a hold of him.
He's not lasting 45 seconds in a fight with a gorilla.
Dude, the gorilla
30.
outweighs him by how many hundreds of pounds?
I know, but
There's no way you're defending
Billy,
this.
you're the biggest like.
I know, but like
guy.
I've poisoned my brain because I know the gorilla will win. But I just was thinking about that situation so many times because it's such a crazy story.
I think that if a gorilla was like tied up and Mike Tyson got 3 punches on him, I don't think that Mike Tyson can knock him out.
I just don't know how gorilla chins are because anyone can get knocked out.
Well, I'm watching that video.
No, they can't. Like you're not knocking a gorilla out. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I feel like if he hits the right button, you know,
just tags him,
just like gets him like
behind the ear, maybe.
Nah,
it's
I'm
totally.
selling that.
It's a hypothetical that I've talked myself into being a way better thing because, like, in order to think about these things, you have to be like, well, we can't just assume the gorilla is going to beat his ass.
Yes, we can.
I think
Absolutely.
he would stand a chance against a chimpanzee, maybe. Maybe.
I think
an
a
old chimpanzee.
A chimp will just maul him though. Gorillas aren't really maulers.
One of the chimpanzees that's been like addicted to cigarettes.
Gorillas they punch.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think he could go blow for blow with a gorilla.
No, it's gonna be one blow and it's gonna be over.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to disagree with Billy.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to entertain it. It's 100% he'd get killed.
Facts.
But someone had to entertain it.
They didn't actually.
That's why I'm here.
Glad you did though, Billy. Super glad you did. What else is in the news, man? Anything of significance?
Good question. I don't know if there's anything else that we got to cover. I just know Billy wanted a chance to dig at me for the limb lengthening thing.
It was Avery's idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what if I feel like the only logical reason to do that would be if you're so short that you like can't exist in day-to-day life without needing like a helper.
Oh, let's do insecurities. Everybody has an insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
What's yours?
My insecurity?
Yeah, like a real one.
Well, sometimes it is tough. Like if I'm at a grocery store and I'm trying to reach up to the top shelf because that's where they keep the magnums, and I just need somebody to help me with those.
The Magnum's by the cigarettes, dog.
No, I don't know. I guess we all have some insecurities.
Yeah.
I guess probably height would be one, just because it's been pounded into me so much by these assholes around here.
Yeah, I feel you,
But I
man.
was never like insecure about that before. You guys made me
Y'all
insecure.
made him insecure.
Yeah.
I guess mine would be when I start to like lose my discipline in workouts, I get fat in just my love handle area.
On the sides?
Yeah,
You get
so
spare tire?
it's
That's
just
insulin. That's insulin resistant, non-resistance.
What does that mean?
That fat you get there has to do with like it has something to do with your insulin system. I can't exactly pinpoint it, but there's like ways you can. That's mostly diet.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
It's 100% diet actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be mine. Like I hate that shit. Big T, what you got? Oh, what you talking about, really?
No, mine's sort of in the same vein.
I hate my hair.
Really?
It's red.
Yeah,
Let me check you out.
It's not, but
It's
like
strawberry.
Let me check you out.
you'll not on camera. No,
Word?
you'll never see me without a hat on.
Really?
That's why. Yeah.
What do you hate about it?
It's so the bangs grow longer. I tell them every time I go get a haircut, cut the bangs off. Like off. I don't want them, and they never do it short enough.
Go to a black barbershop. They'll give you an edge up.
Imagine Big T with waves.
Okay.
Or a
You
fade?
can't get waves.
Yeah, nice fade.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like
get you a nice
it.
little taper.
Okay.
You know what? Let's go to a black barbershop.
All right.
Let's
That'd
go.
be a hilarious video.
Let's go.
You
It'll
should
be
do it,
fun.
Big T.
That'll be fun.
You might like it.
Yeah,
They're gonna give you a nice little. Might pull a different kind of female, man. Oh, you got a shorty. Never mind.
Get him like some lines in his eyebrows too.
I think I'm good on that.
Looks sick.
I got those. I have a scar in my eyebrow, and people used to accuse me that I was putting notches in my eyebrow.
Yeah.
It's like,
Why do you
no,
have a
it's
scar?
natural.
What happened?
I got hit with a rock when I was little.
By one of your big cousins?
We were having a rock fight.
That'll happen.
If you didn't grow up with rock fights, then you're probably a loser.
Yeah, you didn't drink from the hose.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a loser. But
Have you ever shot bottle rockets at your friends?
Coke and Mentos bombs.
Yeah.
You'd have to hit them on the cap so it create a rocket.
that wasn't the thing when we was growing up, though.
No?
Nah.
I did that one year at 4th of July. It was very scary.
No, I'm saying Coke and Mentos. That didn't pop off till like we.
The
like,
internet.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I didn't find out about that till like after college, I think.
Yeah.
Big T, you should bring back a bowl cut.
No, thank you.
Okay. Or a
It's
ponytail?
Ooh, a little ducktail.
Absolutely
rat
not.
tail.
Yeah, we
Mullet?
call it
I keep
ducktail.
my hair as short as
Don't do the
possible.
mullet. Don't do the mullet.
Put a hat on.
You know what? I hate mullets. I think it's the worst hairstyle in
Really?
existence. They're the worst.
Why?
It's so shit.
They're kind of like coming back.
And I seen this little kid because I started going back to the gym. And there's a gym across right by my house. There's this little kid goes in there by himself, has no clue what he's doing, but he has a mullet. I just want to help him, but he has a mullet. Like I refuse to help him.
Maybe you
there's
should
mullet.
reach out to the mullet demographic.
I hate mullets, bro. They're the worst. And I know I might have a whole mullet people talking to me now, but like, it's just the worst hairstyle. I've never seen anything worse.
It became one of those things where people brought it back ironically. And they got a mullet because they're like, haha, check out my mullet. And then,
So bad.
yeah, but now I think it's coming back like for real.
Well, you know why it came back? Lacrosse bros, because when you wear a helmet, when you have a buzz cut, it's like easier to get your helmet on and off. It's less, especially a lacrosse helmet, because lacrosse helmets are basically glorified bike helmets. So, but then they also wanted the flow to come out the back of their
That
helmet.
sounds like bullshit, bro.
Cross Bros brought it back.
Yeah. Well, this sounds like bullshit. Their logic is like,
Well, 'cause it was
this
all
is
about-
why I'm getting a mullet.
it was all about flow. But some people flow.
The lettuce.
I'll call him. I'm
Yeah,
calling bullshit.
flow. Well, it came with when you have long hair. It's a lot of upkeep. So if you have a buzz cut, but you still got flow,
They want a buzz cut with the flow.
yeah, they want business in the
They
front,
want
party in the back.
They want their cake to eat it too. I think it's just a horrible. The black version of that is a shag. Have you seen a shag?
No, what's that?
Equally stupid, but it's basically a little mini fro in the back.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
It's ass, bro. It's the worst. It's the worst.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking
It's
about.
just
Yeah.
horrible, man. You see it?
It's all white people in this image that I'm bringing up right here.
Type in black people, man. You know,
It's kind of like what the running back
I'm
on
googling
the
black
Steelers
people
who
right
had cancer. Now he's on the Cardinals.
James Conner.
James Conner. He used to have something like that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
What do you think? Oh yeah, I
That's
remember
what-
that. I remember that. What do you think would pop up if you just Google black people?
Oh
see.
man, that's the
see.
worst.
Let's-
Actually,
let's find out.
I'm
I'm going
curious.
to Google white people.
Okay.
Someone get the other.
There's a lot of
number right.
news. There's a lot of news about black people that popped up. That's the first thing.
Images.
Go to the images.
The
Let's
first thing that pops up when you Google white people is a black lady.
Oh wow.
see. Interesting.
All right, let's see images.
Biden's America.
This is the stupidest Google search I've
Let
ever
me see.
done.
Let me see. Dog.
No, just just pictures.
It's
it's pretty normal.
Yeah, pretty normal.
Pretty normal.
Definitely black people.
I just wonder how popular of a search term that is.
Can't you do Google Trends and see?
Yeah.
Yeah, the white people one is 3 randoms across the board, and then Ron DeSantis.
Who do you think should pop up if you Google like white man?
Who's the whitest man ever?
Like Mitt Romney.
Yeah,
Mitt
good
Romney's
call.
definitely white.
Mitt Romney is the whitest, the whitest of all time.
Zach Wilson.
No, I think Mitt.
Mormon.
It's gotta be Mitt.
When I think white people too, I also think Zach Morris,
yeah,
dude from Saved by the Bell.
We're just all talking Saved by the Bell today. I love it.
yeah. Zach Morris is an all-time white guy, for sure. Looks like a Ken doll. All right, so you guys want to get into John Taffer? You want to talk to John Taffer?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get the Taff Daddy on. Before we talk to John Taffer, just know that he's our good friend. You guys should all be very nice to him, and he's brought to you by Helix mattresses. Helix. Why would you buy a mattress that was ever made for someone else? With Helix, you're getting a mattress that you know will be perfect for the way that you sleep. Helix Sleep has a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete, and it matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. They have soft, medium, and firm mattresses. Mattresses great for cooling you down if you sleep hot. Mattresses that are great for spinal alignment to prevent morning aches and pains. Even a Helix Plus mattress for plus-size sleepers. I took the Helix quiz. I got matched with a Helix Midnight Luxe mattress because I wanted something that felt medium firm. I was sleeping on too soft a mattress for a very long time. I didn't know that I was sleeping on a soft mattress until my back started to hurt. I had no idea what was going on. Felt like I was getting old too fast. Turns out, not everybody should sleep on a soft mattress. Some people need a more firm mattress. That's me. I changed my mattress. I changed my life. No joke. I wake up without pain now. It was a very, very tough time when I was just waking up every morning feeling like the worst I'd ever felt. And it was because my mattress wasn't right. So go check them out at helixsleep.com/dose. You're going to take their 2-minute sleep quiz and they're going to match you to a customized mattress, give you the best sleep of your life. $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/dose. That's helixsleep.com/dose. $200 off and 2 free pillows. Change your mattress, change your life. That's what PFT always says. Get a Helix Sleep mattress today. helixsleep.com/dose. Now here is John Taffer. We welcome on a very special guest to Macrodosing. Been a friend of mine for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
It's Jon Taffer. You may recognize him from Bar Rescue. He's also an author. Did you write this book?
Of course.
You wrote it all by yourself.
I wrote it by myself. This is my baby. And my last one was a New York Times bestseller. So this is actually my 3rd book. If my high school teachers were alive to know this, boy, I would have a great day talking to them because none of them would have ever believed this.
Yo, what's the metric for being a New York Times bestseller?
You have to sell a certain amount of books in a week period of time. Every book drops on Tuesday.
Yep.
So between Tuesday and Saturday, you have to sell a certain amount of books. I'm not sure what the number is, 10,000 or a number like that. But my last one was a New York Times bestseller, an LA Times bestseller, and a Wall Street Journal bestseller.
Okay.
But I'm not quite sure I know what that means myself, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm just.
It helps you sell books, though.
I'm excited. I'm excited about the title of this book. I'm a big title guy. Like that's as much reading as I normally do. Is I've read the titles of several books in the last year. This is called The Power of Conflict. Speak your mind and get the results you want. So this is essentially a book that's like arguing is good.
It is. I mean, let's look at the world today. We're in politically.
I disagree.
And stuff. Look at the world that we're in,
Yeah.
guys. If people don't stick up for what they believe in, the whole thing freaking unravels. So whatever it is that you believe in, say it, man. Stick up for yourself. And that's what the book is about. So about 70% of people avoid conflict. They're scared to engage in it. Now, you're not one of those. But most people are scared to engage in conflict. They back up. So That means that they're not living their lives. The things that are important for them aren't important enough to speak up. So this book's purpose is to give those people the tools and the confidence to stick up for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I do like speaking up sometimes, but there are other times where I just think to myself, it's just easier to just deal with something. Like if I'm at a restaurant or something like that, and they bring me out the wrong drink, right? Let's say I ordered a double Long Island iced tea and they only gave me a single. And I just pretend that I'm fine with that, and I just, end up accepting with it because it's easier sometimes to just take it rather than make a big stink about everything.
But that's bullshit, because you would normally order a triple and they'd give you a double. That's what would get you angry, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fake story, but like, where do you draw the line? Like, when is it time? When do you know that, like, okay, this is a big enough deal for me to make a big conflict over?
It's a great question. We talk about that in the book. Some conflict isn't worth it. Just screw it, guys. They're not worth it, or it's not worth it. But when you determine that something is worth it, it means something to you, well, then you should frickin' stick up for it. Mm-hmm. If it means something to you. Now, if it means something to me, I don't want to get into an emotional screaming match with you. That's not going to change any minds or do anything. It's got to be with dignity. I'm not going to curse you out. I'm going to look at you. I'm going to listen to you. We're going to engage, and I'm going to try to change your mind. Mm-hmm. And you're going to try to change mine. And that's good, man. That's what makes the world go round. But when we stop talking to each other and we're scared to engage, that sucks. That's when society stops, or people with the big mouths take over from the ones that, kept silent.
Yeah.
So you're for diplomatic conflict?
With dignity. Absolutely, man. I don't want to rob you of your dignity, you know?
So what prompted the meat of this? Like, what did you see in society where it's like, I gotta say this?
Well, I've now done about 230 episodes of Bar Rescue.
Big
12
fan, by the way.
freaking
We
years.
gonna get into it.
Thank you. Yeah. 12 years I've been doing this show, and I do about 60 days work in 4 days. So it's pressure. And I've learned to use conflict in a really positive way. Now, you've seen me scream at people. You've seen me throw food at people. But I always get my hug in the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a way to do it where you can still know I care about you, man. I'm well-intended, but I'm going to beat the shit out of you about this.
Right.
So there needs to be a line of humanity in this, if you will.
Gotcha.
It's like football coaches. Football coaches, like, they will scream. They will get in your face. But then you'll always hear people like, yeah, I'd run through a brick wall for that guy.
It's funny. We were just talking about that this morning, about how coaches today, even in high school and stuff, they're softer, right? They can't be as aggressive as they used to be because of the political environment that we're in, right, guys? So athletes, and you certainly know this well, buddy, a great coach pushes you to be better than you even thought you were, right? That's a great coach.
They can. Some of them are assholes, though.
But a great coach will push you to be better than you even think you are. Those are really special moments. That comes from conflict. That comes from aggression. That comes from the courage to engage, man. Yeah. And, Marshawn Lynch, when he was on Bar Rescue, said to me off camera, he goes, "You make a great freaking coach, man."
That's why Billy turned out to be such a soft kid, was because his coaches were afraid to really push him in high school.
No. Well, actually,
he only benches 275, John.
Really?
Can you believe that? A guy that
used to bench
works
over
out
300,
constantly?
But now, no. But I have actually a quick question. So my generation, in that same vein. So basically, I worked in the service industry. I was a barback, busboy. I was a bartender for a little. And because I was in the service industry, I find myself way more forgiving when I'm at a restaurant, and like as PFT said, like not complaining about certain things, being more lenient. Do you think that has a negative effect on the quality and sort of basically the standards that a staff holds themselves to if their whole clientele is pushovers? Do you think that detriments the establishment?
I do. I think that I wouldn't get in a fight with somebody in a restaurant. I'm not suggesting that we conflict with people who are serving us, but sure. I mean, customers should stick up for what they're paying for value, and if they can't constantly accept less and less and less, when does the less stop? Right. So I'm staying in a hotel, for example, in New York, one of the best hotels in New York, and it's interesting that you get breakfast in a cardboard box. Now, it used to be the cart came up to the room with the beautiful china and the silver cloth. He said, now you get your breakfast in a fucking box. Mm-hmm. So I called the GM of the hotel and I said, "Hey, man, when are you going to become a real hotel again?" Everybody has a freaking excuse now. "Oh, COVID, I can't get this, I can't get that, I can't do this, I can't do that." Bullshit. Fight harder and you'll freaking get it. So it's our responsibility to hold them to a standard too. I mean, when do we become real again, man? Are we going to blame COVID for everything for the rest of our fucking lives?
What's the balance, right? So what's the line across it from like, I'm holding the establishment that I'm at to a certain standard, and like you just a complaining Karen? Like, what's the line? Because as if you worked in the service industry, you know, people be complaining about little shit.
So it's the way you do it. No, I didn't do it that way to the gym. I called him. I told him who I was.
Yeah.
I told him I have a couple of suggestions that I think he'd like to hear. I know if I was a general manager, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then give it to him in a
I'm saying,
positive way.
I'm saying, what's the line? Like when is it too much? And you like complain?
When it gets emotional.
Okay.
Because when it gets emotional, when we're screaming at each other, nothing gets done at that point.
Gotcha.
You know, keep it cool, keep it calm. Let's talk to each other.
Gotcha.
But you got to mess with people a little bit. You know, if you're saying something that I am not interested in at all, I'm going to put my hand on my chin.
Right.
I'm going to look you in the face. I'm going to make you think I really care what you're saying. Because that's going to open you up to talk to me more. Right? And conflict is talking, man. It's engaging with each other. So I don't want to do anything that pulls you back. I don't want to see you crossing your arms or doing that kind of stuff. I want to pull you in, you know?
So when was the last time that somebody like had a conflict with you that was like, you know what, Taffer's fucking up right now and I'm going to tell him to his face?
Never.
Never.
Never have.
You
know me pretty well. Can you see that happening?
You've never been beaten in a conflict.
Not really.
Undefeated.
I'm pretty undefeated, yeah. We have something my family calls it Taffer deductive logic. I can make you agree with anything if I have enough time.
Okay.
Calling cap on that.
Yeah, I don't think I'm so mentally powerful. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that. I'm trying to think of something that we can disagree on real quick.
There's a bunch.
The best urinals in bathrooms are the ones that have ice in them.
I would agree with that. I like the ice.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
It's fun to watch the cubes melt when you piss
It
on
is. It's like you're playing a game.
Did you see the bar rescue episode where we had the pissing game?
Yes.
There was a target in the urinal, and if you piss, you get a score.
Yep.
And who stays on the target the longest and pisses the longest gets the highest score.
That's kind of fire.
Have you thought about going back to like the worst bar rescues that you've ever done, like the real fuck up plates, like the O-Face?
O-Face.
Was that the
man.
one?
Yeah.
That was in that trailer.
That's the one I walked out of.
That
I
was-
didn't rescue.
That was my favorite one. I love that one.
You know, that guy's in jail now.
Sick?
Not Sick. No, Sick was a good guy.
Yeah, Sick was
the
a good
owner,
guy.
who's a dickhead. He's in jail now for employee harassment or sexual harassment or something. So
That makes sense, yeah. Well, would you ever go back to a place like that? Check up on him?
well, I'd like to go back and just beat the fuck out of him some more. You
Yeah.
know, that guy really deserved it. But, you know, it's fun to go back to him. We used to do a show called Back to the Bar. We go back and we visit some of them a year or two later. And it's fun to see what happens there back then.
What's your best one? What's the biggest success story from Bar Rescue?
There's a few of them. Probably Spirits on Bourbon. Their sales have been about $2 million a year higher since we left, and that was almost 10 years ago.
Okay.
And they're still doing those huge numbers. So, and they're pretty close to me. We've stayed close over the years.
I remember you gave him something that was like a special novelty drink. That
The Resurrection.
You wanted people to see it when they were walking down the street and be like, where'd you get that drink from?
Yeah. So we studied Bourbon Street, and I learned that this will surprise you. 70% of all the cocktails sold on Bourbon Street are sold to go.
Yep.
So everybody else has the bar facing the room. I put the bar facing the street. So that then sold more. Then we looked, and every cocktail on Bourbon Street was either green or red. So I said, okay, let's do a blue one. Let's own the only blue cocktail on Bourbon Street. Then we put it in a skull cup that blinked. And the logic was when you saw it on Bourbon Street, wait, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? And it worked. They had to buy a warehouse in Baton Rouge to store the cups, and they sell about 18,000 resurrections a month.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I love a good novelty drink too.
Yeah.
Novelty drinks are my favorite. I'm like the lowest class person in the world when it comes. If you give me something that is like either poured out of a shark or lit on fire at the end,
You're in.
I can't help myself. I have to buy it every time. It's just more fun to drink out of like a giant fishbowl than it is out of a regular glass. And we need to have a conversation.
By the way,
too.
we call those rituals.
Rituals.
Ritual cocktails is a term that we created years ago. So a ritual cocktail could be a bartender doing something at the bar with fire or whatever. And then there's other ritual cocktails, like the simplest one of all is Corona beer. You put the lime around the edge.
Yep.
It's a ritual before you drink it.
Yep.
Right? If the lime didn't exist, I'm not sure Corona would be a popular beer now. Right? It's that whole lime package. You know how that happened? Glassware in Mexico is really dirty and it has bacteria on it. So the citric acid in the lime kills the germs on the rim of the glass. So that's how it started, was using the lime to clean the glass originally. But that ritual sells a shitload of beer.
It does, yeah.
We also had a glassware plastic expert on, and he said that because the clear glass makes the beer skunky, the lime also kills that. Another little fact.
I'm not sure about that, but
Well, it's skunky. But that's why other beers have the dark glass.
Arguably, Conflict.
Yeah, conflict.
Stick
Dark
up for your
glass.
fact, man.
That makes the light, the UV rays penetrate the glass.
But that would
and makes
mean
it
that every
skunky.
other light beer in a clear glass would suck if it didn't have lime.
Well, what's another one besides Corona that's in a clear glass?
In a clear glass bottle?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about it. There's a few of them. I can't think of one at the
I don't
moment,
think
but
there
I know
is.
there are.
There's like
Miller High Life is in a clear bottle,
That's also a skunkier beer.
there's Soul.
but it's one of the largest selling beers in the world, and they don't use lime.
True.
So how skunky could it possibly be?
Well, it's usually made in smaller batches that get to the source.
I'm talking about the beer in a glass. The
Right.
batch doesn't mean a fucking thing. Don't
Right,
change
but-
the topic
no,
on
but
me
I'm
here.
just saying it's a distributor to table. I think a lot faster than Corona, and also it's served in colder temperatures than a Corona, which is usually served in very sunny places.
Good point, Billy.
Oh, come on.
Good
But it comes
point,
out of an
Billy.
ice bin. What? He bullshits pretty good, doesn't he?
Oh my God! You
I
have no
read your
clue.
book.
Yeah, no, I mean, who's to say whether or not the clear glass has anything to do with the lime? You make it sound like it could be a thing, so I'm going to
sound like
choose
that.
to believe it.
Definitely sound like
Billy just lies about most things. Over
I
the
don't
course of
know.
the back.
But he does it pretty well.
He
I
does
gotta
it very
think.
convincing.
No, I could understand your point, but that is not why the lime exists. The lime exists because it was a sanitation thing.
I heard, yeah, but I just heard.
So what about Blue Moon with the orange? Does that have to do because it's skunky too?
Well, I don't drink any of those types of beers
So if you don't
I
drink any of those beers, how do you fucking know about the beer you're talking about?
because
That's like I
heard
watched
about
one
that.
baseball game in my life. I've never watched any others.
No, but I
know.
like,
He's on
I mean,
TikTok,
I like
man. You-
domestic light cheap beer because I'm
Coors Light?
23.
Billy loves
love
Coors Light.
I will drink so many Coors Lights.
The mountain's turning blue. From your perspective, like you're a bar science guy, that's got to be a top 3 invention of all time, right?
What?
The mountain's turning blue.
What do you mean?
When the beer gets cold,
Oh, sure.
the mountains turn blue.
That's a real thing.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah.
You didn't know that?
I don't drink beer though.
Take a look at it. So that's
So
that
when
beer
this is
right
cold,
there.
the mountain goes blue.
The mountain, you don't know. I can't believe you didn't know that about.
I don't
Coors
drink
Light.
beer, fam.
Dude, I think I got cold
Is this
ones
a
in the
fridge?
fridge. That's a wine cooler.
It's not cold.
No, that's only like 50 degrees.
But it's true. It's this cool thing.
Yeah.
That's fire.
The professor who created that chemical that turns blue when it goes cold, I think like teaches at some college, and that's his opening line, and the whole class is like, "Whoa!"
You know, with draft beer, freshness is everything, right?
Yeah.
So years ago, when I was consulting to Anheuser-Busch, we recommended that they put a seal on every keg that if it gets over 42 degrees, turns color.
Smart.
So they would know that you can't sell that keg, that it's not fresh anymore. We presented this whole concept, and it's not expensive to do. It's like 20 cents, right, for the sticker on there. And you could do it by pallet, et cetera, but they never did it. And I always thought that was a really important way to manage, beer quality is through temperature.
Is there any way that we can get good Guinness in America? Can you like figure that out for us?
Well, it's
As
got
a-
to be on draft, not in a bottle.
as
Because
a
Guinness
country-
bottled is not the same as Guinness.
Right. Why does Guinness stink so much over here compared to what it tastes like overseas?
Real quick,
First of all,
for somebody
Guinness-
who's not a beer, and for other people who's not, what's the difference between draft and bottled beer?
Well, draft beer is in a keg.
Okay.
Right, bottled beer is in a bottle. There's actually a pretty big difference in the flavor profile between them.
Right.
For example, bottled beer is much more carbonated than draft beer is. So draft beer also has to be refrigerated. Typically doesn't have the preservatives in it that bottled beer does. So there's a big difference between the two. What's interesting is, and I know you're not a beer guy, you'll consume about 30% more beer if you drink draft rather than bottled, because it has less gas in it. It doesn't bloat you as much.
Yep.
There's an experiment I used to do. It'd be fun to do
business.
it together. You take a 2 glasses, you pour a bottle of beer into a glass really quickly, and then the other one you pour in really slowly. Then you take a piece of paper towel and you put it in a glass that you poured slowly. Nothing happens. I mean, the glass that you poured quickly, nothing happens. When you put it in a glass you poured slowly, it erupts and comes out of the glass, and that's what happens in your stomach. That's why if you drink beer out of a bottle, you're going to drink a lot less than if you pour it into a glass first, let some of the gases dissipate, and then drink it.
What about a can?
Same thing.
Can and bottle, same thing. because
Same thing,
they're-
same
they're
pressure typically,
self-contained?
yep.
Okay.
So big difference if you put it in a glass. You're going to drink more.
Is that why you get more hungover when you're drinking keg beer because you're drinking more beer?
Typically, yes.
Wow.
Because the alcohol content is the same, right?
Yeah.
But it makes sense. You're consuming less gas. You're consuming more
Yeah.
beer.
I mean, keg
Speaking of
parties-
gas,
Yeah. There needs to be like a show like Bro Science with Billy Football. Bro Rescue. Where Billy just shows up to your frat and he tells you, All this shit could be way sweeter if you just switched it around.
Actually,
a little bit.
that would be an amazing video series.
It would be,
showing
bro.
up to frats, be like, the kegs aren't cold.
Bro rescue. Billy shows up to.
We should do that, buddy. We could do that together.
Yeah.
Go to frat
Billy
houses
and
across
John
America.
showing up, being like, "Hey, you need to have that poster of the two chicks making out with each other over here. Then you need the Pink Floyd back poster where they're all naked over here."
Who's your door guy? The ratio's terrible.
Billy walks in. He's like, "You have a Boondock Saints poster up? What year are we living in right now?" I think we can make that happen. But the Guinness thing.
Yeah.
Why can't I get good Guinness in America?
First of all, Guinness has to have its own draft system because it's pushed by nitrogen, whereas other beers are pushed by CO2. So it's a big difference. You have to have a special nitrogen feed. Then you have to have just the right pressure, just the right temperature of 39 degrees. Then you have to fill it in a Guinness glass to the top of the harp.
Yep.
Then you let it sit for about 120 seconds or so, 100 seconds, and it cascades. When the cascading is done, then you top it off. Yep. And you can be certified as a Guinness server.
Right. Yeah.
And what
a
bars
total
blow
art.
it is they don't wait to top it off. They just fill the glass and send it out, so it's never right.
Right. They're trying to get orders in, get orders
Yep.
out, and so they're trying to make money that way. But I get that there's like a process to pouring it, and I've seen some places that try to do that. But for whatever reason, the quality of the Guinness in America, like it just doesn't take. Maybe it's
not quite the same.
Maybe it's because like when I'm in Ireland, I feel like I'm in Ireland.
Well,
it's like placebo
freshness
effect.
matters. You know, if you go to St. Louis, they have something called same-day beer. And bars have signs in front of them that say same-day beer. So they get Anheuser-Busch from the distillery, from the brewery to drop it off that day.
Yeah.
Big difference. So Guinness is a lot fresher in Ireland than it is here.
Interesting.
That's got to make a difference.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Also, one thing when I was working as a bartender, it's because it operates on a different system, sometimes it doesn't get cleaned as much as the other ones. And that
could
impacts
be.
the taste.
Yeah.
Because the other
That's-
guys are not going to clean the Guinness line. Only
Yeah.
Guinness is going to clean the Guinness
Yeah.
line. Yeah.
So it's Mad Dog's birthday today. Happy birthday, Mad Dog. Thank you. How come we don't have like too many bars that serve these like cheap wines like Mad Dog or Night Train?
We
How
appreciate
come-
those people
how
that
come,
don't serve that.
How come that's only something I can get in like 7-Eleven?
It's funny. I have a friend who's creating a new product called pie wine. And it's wine to be eaten with pizza. And it's in a can. Crack it. And it's so I think there's a
I'm a
real
wine guy, I'm not a
opportunity for
beer guy.
cheaper wines today, and
Yeah.
canned wines and bottled wines, and
I've been seeing a lot of rosé on tap.
yeah,
That's
and canned rosés
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But wine now, good wines are being sold in cans, and the sales are going up every year. So it's amazing. So in a couple of years from now, you might be drinking a fine Bordeaux out of a can.
I would love that. What's the next innovation in the bar scene? What are you working on right now? Like when Jon Taffer goes back to his lab and you put on your goggles and your lab coat, we're getting into the bar science stuff. Like, what's the next butt funnel?
Ooh, you got a good memory, buddy.
Yeah. Listen, I used to watch Bar Rescue like all day on Sundays. That was
Facts.
how I would that would get rid of my hangover. Actually, is watching that show.
The trend in the industry is all technology, kiosks for ordering, all this kind of stuff, and I'm against it. I think when you go to a bar, you should look in somebody's eyes. The connectivity of a bar is really important with the staff, etc. So in my Taffer's Taverns, my restaurants, all the technology is in the back of the house. I have computerized cooking, robotic cooking. Everything is computerized, but in the front of the house, nothing is. And I'm finding that a lot of restaurants are going too much technology. If you go to a restaurant or a bar, you order in a kiosk, you don't have no connectivity. Somebody drops it at the table, walks away. The brand doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just transactional. You know what I'm saying? It loses its heart and soul. So I'm one who pushes back on a lot of those things. But video systems now, interactivity of video systems, control of entertainment technology, putting special cone speakers over each table so you can pick one football game. You can pick another one at tables next to each other. You don't hear each other's games. Those kind of technologies that give the guest control of their own entertainment is really the future of where this
I like
is going.
that you mentioned like automatic food prep. So everything front of the house would be like face to face, old school. And then are we talking about robot chefs? Or are we talking about like a system in
there's
place
a cook
where
back
there's
there, but he's running computerized cooking systems, and it's very simple. So where I used to have 7 guys, I now have 2. Where it used to take me 7 days to train them, I can now train them in 4 hours.
okay?
It's a whole different deal using all of these systems and procedures today.
Business efficiency. That's what I have a question about. So in all your experience in flipping bars and changing the landscapes of them, what's like the biggest advice you give to entrepreneurs? Because I'm an entrepreneur myself. And so a lot of people out there, I always tell them like 98% of businesses fail within the first 2 years. And so like, what are like some key tenets to like bars in general or business in general that you give to people for advice to like stay afloat?
You know, it doesn't matter what business you're in. If you're starting a new business, especially today, you got to expect it to take longer than you expected, and that it's not going to be as profitable as you thought right away. So I always say what Vince Lombardi said. You know, he always said, I never lost a football game, I just ran out of time. Most businesses ran out of money, ran out of time. Had they had enough money for a few more months, they would have made it. So if you don't have the experience, have the checkbook to pay for it. And that's the most important thing. Make sure you have the money so that you have a runway long enough, because you're going to make mistakes. But every month you're going to get better and you're going to figure it out. And what happens is by the time you get good, you're out of money. It's over.
Yeah.
So extra money is really the trick. If you believe in what you're doing, guys, have the money to give it a chance.
Follow-up question: how do you secure financing? Like, what avenues would you recommend for someone who's trying to start a business or whatnot?
Well, you know, it depends if you have experience in that business. If you don't have experience in that business, good luck. You know, go to mom and dad. That's probably your best shot, family and friends. But if you do have experience, you know, SBA, there's a lot of places you can go get bank loans today. I have a friend who opened up a restaurant in California. What he did is he sold $1,000 gift cards. And he gave them out to everybody, but you're only allowed to spend 100 of it a month. And he raised a bunch of money with the gift cards, opened up the restaurant. And by controlling how much they can spend each month, he's still making money off regular guests.
Smart.
So there's a really smart way to do that.
What are the stats on gift cards? Is it like if you sell a gift card, what percentage of them actually ever get redeemed?
About 30% of gift cards nationally are never redeemed. Now, there was just a law passed. It used to be, I think, after a year, the money was mine. Right, of the stores. Now I think it's 2 or 3 years you have to hold it, but roughly 30% of gift card revenue is never redeemed. Isn't that amazing?
We got to start selling macrodosing gift cards. It seems
Absolutely.
like easy money.
I like
What do we redeem it? What can I redeem it for?
More gift cards.
How about go all the way, redeem it for NFTs?
Yeah, there you go.
I actually
Bullshit selling bullshit.
Yeah. No, you just created a synthetic market of just complete and utter bullshit.
Like the cut of this
and
guy's
then
joke.
if you're at the top of that pyramid, you're going to make a lot of money.
I sold some NFTs to some NFT collectors, and they really appreciated them.
Dope.
Did you make money?
Yes,
Good. Kinda.
I did.
Did you make what you should have?
On what?
Your NFTs.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I drew a frog, and it sold for way too much money.
How much?
How
was
much?
a frog?
Like 4 figures.
Okay. So like we're talking like $2,000, $3,000.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
But did you get U.S. currency or some fake currency?
I got. It's actually worth more now than it was.
So it is.
I'm just
so
keeping.
fake.
No, it's not fake. I mean, I could sell it in Coinbase like in a second, but I'm actually keeping it there because it's growing.
Do you think
So-
maybe you got paid all this money because you're actually just a great artist and the drawing of the frog was that good?
I think I'm sneaky.
Stay on
Yeah,
this. I want to find out if he actually ever gets cash out of this.
You-
Yeah,
I'll cash out.
I will look into
I'll
it.
cash out right now because we're not doing taxes.
You won't?
I'll cash out right now.
Wait, we're not paying taxes?
Wait, what does that mean?
Well, because I did my taxes already this year.
So next year doesn't count. It's not real.
Next year, I'll
It's a new
do
year.
taxes.
You got to do taxes again.
Next year, I'll forget about
You
it.
already did them, John. You did last year.
He's done with taxes. Yeah. He's over
And then
the
next
tax shit.
April, he's going to have $0 in his checking account again.
I'm so glad that John Taffer got to meet Billy.
that was
You don't want this guy
Virginia.
running your business. for sure.
No. I'm gonna be a great businessman one day. Just you guys wait.
I hope so.
John, what are your recommendations on paying taxes? Do you recommend that people pay them or not pay them?
Of course, pay them.
Okay.
But remember, life isn't how much money you make; it's how much you keep.
That's a good point.
So don't overpay them. You know,
Yeah.
it's worth it to have people double check and look at things. You know, make sure that you're not overpaying.
Yeah. Big T.
Most people do, by the way.
You got any questions for John?
Yeah. So when you go into a bar, what is something you look for in a business that wouldn't be obvious to someone, but is obvious to you that you're like, this is going to fail?
Sometimes it's really subtle things. You know, most people determine if they like a business or not the first 3 steps in. So you walk into a bar or restaurant, you go in 3 steps. In the first 3 steps, you know what it smells like? You know what it sounds like? You know what music they're playing? Is it for you or is it not for you, right?
facts, yeah.
You can look around and see if it's organized or not. You can walk up to a table. This is one of my pet peeves. I walk up to a table, pick up a salt shaker. If it's greasy on the outside, I got them. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Because they don't
Something
clean it.
subtle because they're not cleaning them, right?
You know,
So, excuse me, little subtle things like that are really powerful.
Mine is how a business's bathroom is kept, to me, is very indicative of how they run their shit.
Yep,
absolutely.
Bro, if I walk in the bathroom and it's clean, I'm like, yo, this is good business. And if it's not, it's like, you just don't care.
You think about what the kitchen looks like, right?
Yeah, maybe
The
worse.
bathroom's
Probably
that
worse.
bad.
Yeah.
My thing is, if I go up to a table and I sit down at it, and it's a combination of both wet, if there's like a puddle on the table, and it's off balance, then I'm
Wobbly.
like, this place sucks.
Yeah.
If it's a wobbly table, that's the
give
worst
him a pass
thing.
on the wobbly table.
No, you
man.
can.
Sometimes,
So you know what bothers me about that?
Talk to
The
me.
server wiped the table and it wobbled, didn't do a freaking thing
Yeah,
about it.
you can take
That night they cleaned it, didn't do a freaking thing about it. How many people know that table is wobbling, but not one person did anything about it? That tells me they're just not paying attention to a lot of things, not just wobbly tables.
We should invent a way to like recalibrate these wobbly tables fast
There
and
is.
efficiently.
We've had them on Bar Rescue. There's a company called Tilt Proof or something that makes a table base that the feet level themselves.
It's genius.
You pull a lever and they all just find their spot, and then you let go and it levels itself.
It's genius because that will ruin my entire experience.
Yeah,
at a
I hate
restaurant.
that.
I could be eating at the nicest steakhouse in town, and if it's a wobbly table, I hate it. Just it's panic inducing the entire time.
It's a red flag.
So if you go out for a special dinner tonight, what are you getting? Are you a steak guy?
Yeah, I like a nice ribeye. Yeah, I'll probably do a steak. I mean, I'm a simple guy. Usually when I go out to eat, I'm eating chicken wings. I'm eating, Philly cheesesteak. I'm eating soup. I'm a big soup guy too. But the meal where I treat myself, I'll get a ribeye.
What about you?
Favorite meal in the world is Japanese ramen.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huh. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, it is though.
Here's an idea
amazing.
for you.
So I'm a big steakhouse guy. I love a steakhouse. Get a huge ribeye, cream spinach, even broccoli rabe, like mashed potatoes. I love the whole get up. Medium rare. I like a hot plate. I want the plate to be hot. I want it to be sizzling when it comes out.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this stuff now where we have cocktails that have food in them. So for example, we'll make a Bloody Mary and we'll make some grilled cheese sandwiches and we'll overcook them a little bit and we'll cut them in strips and it'll stick out of the Bloody Mary. So in the Bloody Mary, the garnish is half a grilled cheese sandwich, which when you dip it in the Bloody Mary is really good.
Is it?
We've done it with shrimp. We've done it with meatballs.
That
And we now
sounds horrible. I'll give it
garnishing
a try.
on top. It's pretty
Good.
cool.
There's a
Sounds
place called
horrible.
Sobelman's up in Milwaukee that I went to one time, and they're known as being like a big Bloody Mary place, and they do that with cheeseburgers. There's even one Bloody Mary that you can get that's got an entire fried chicken on it, on a skewer that's going into the drink.
That's
It's a little bit much.
they tripping.
But
That's
I've done a slider.
yeah, the sliders are good. I had an idea about 6 months ago. I pitched it to Guy Fieri, who regrettably said he didn't think it would work, but I've been workshopping it for a while now. I think they should make alcoholic soups. I think there should be a soup that has booze in it, so you can eat and drink at the same time and get fucked up, because they do have there's dishes that you can eat that use wine or they use brandy in cooking, but all the alcohol gets cooked out. I'm talking about something that you add the alcohol into at the end, and so I tried making like a corn chowder with vodka in it and Old Bay.
shit would be trash.
It wasn't good, but it also wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I've got to do some more experimenting, but I feel like there's something to that.
I could see a hearty soup with a bourbon in it.
Yeah.
I could see some. I'm going to play with that on Bar Rescue.
Just think about it.
Which, by the way, when you coming to do recon?
So listen,
We were talking about
I've been
that.
busting his balls.
Yeah,
You're
we've
welcome
been talking
to,
about
and
that.
you
I'm
always
there.
got some freaking excuse. I
Don't
think
inv-
he's terrified.
don't invite
he thinks
me,
I'm gonna
dog.
throw food
I'm
at him or
there.
something.
I don't make excuses. I make improvements. Right? I think that's a Jon Taffer quote. I don't endorse excuses or whatever that thing was. But what I'm saying is, like, we have wanted to come on Bar Rescue. The issue was, it was back in 2018.
Oh man.
We made
Pandemic hit and shit too.
Yeah, we made
Not in 2018.
You made a wager.
we made a wager.
I lost.
You lost. The Washington Capitals beat the Las Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Finals. No big deal. And then
It's a big deal to me.
yeah. No, it was actually the biggest deal of my life. I had been waiting for that for a long time, and so I was going to go on Bar Rescue. Me and Big Cat were going to do a Bar Rescue, bar reconnaissance, and go spy on a bar for him. And for whatever reason, the schedules just have not aligned yet. I do want to make it happen. If there's
be fun.
If there's any bar rescues that take place like in the New York area, the problem is now that Big Cat, he's got 2 kids, the whole family, he's got to be a dad all the time. It's tough to drag him away from home base
So
because
I'll get you guys to do it.
yeah.
I'm
So
there.
yeah, just let us know.
Well, I'll send you a schedule. We'll make it happen.
Give us
It'd be
the
fun,
options. and we'll make it happen. And then maybe we can come up with some sort of alcoholic soup.
Well, we'll do a soup in that episode.
I like that.
It's gonna be trash. I'm gonna try it though. But I got a question for you, man. Okay, so the theme of today's episode is reality TV, and so I want to know how the mash between like you actually operating a business and combining that with reality TV has been in your experience. Because from my experience, reality TV is so toxic, and a lot of it is scripted.
Negative as hell.
Yeah, it's negative and it's scripted and it's drama based, right?
Yeah.
So, what has your experience been like actually trying to help people in their businesses and improve their livelihood versus putting together a good product for a show?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
You know, the 4th episode of Bar Rescue, and I tell this story in the book, there was a new network executive who comes on set, tells me to take a Tampax, put ketchup on it, and throw it on the floor in the ladies' room. Then he goes out and starts talking to the employees. I want you to cry. I want you to... And I stopped. When I signed my show with the network, fortunately, I already had money. I was already successful. The deal was that it would be authentic. This executive comes on set, does all that stuff. I literally told him to fuck off, threw him off set. The show was canceled. The next day, the senior vice president of network flies to Chicago. We were doing the Abbey in Chicago. Walks around the block with me and says to me, John, listen, we can have creative agreements, but you can't tell the vice president of the network to go fuck himself. So at that moment in time, it became clear between the network and I that the show was going to be real and that I would be in charge of it, not a producer. So I can look you in the face now and tell you there's never been a script. There's never been an actor. There's never been a setup. There's never been reshoots. There's never been fake. What you see is what you get. I'm rare. I'll tell you the other one who is that way is Robert Irvine. Okay. Robert Irvine is straight as well. His show is completely real. Him and I just did a show, Restaurant Rivals, on Discovery together. And I was surprised. So him and I are about the only two that are real.
Okay.
We're going to get back to Jon Taffer in a second. Before we do, it's brought to you by Sport Clips. Big T's going to get his haircut over at Sport Clips.
Only place.
You're going to look absolutely stunning. Big T, has it been a while since your last haircut? Yes, you out there. I'm talking to you. Well, head over to Sport Clips and ask for the MVP haircut experience. If you've never had the MVP haircut experience at Sport Clips, you're missing out. The hot steam towel, it's goated. It is absolutely goated. It's the best way to finish up a haircut. The MVP haircut experience comes with an expert precision haircut, but you also get a neck and shoulder treatment that will make you melt into your seat. Neck and shoulder treatment not available in Washington or Oregon, but you can come in looking like you've been stranded on a desert island. No worries. Sport Clip stylists can tackle any type of hair, no matter how long it's been. So sit down, relax, and leave with the energy and confidence to face whatever your day throws at you. There's plenty of things in life to worry about. Worrying about your haircut should not be one of them. Check out Sport Clips right now. Sport Clips are the pros in men's hair. Now, more Jon Taffer.
You know, like Housewives and all those shows?
Yeah.
If they don't get in the fight, they're off the show.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I've always wondered when you're doing like sometimes when it's the recon or if it's like the soft launch or whatever. Or no, I guess it's during the recon phase before you go in the first time. The cameras are already in the restaurant, right?
They've been there for a couple of days.
So they know that you're coming at some point, but they just don't know when.
Well, you know, it's interesting. If you look at the way they act, if they thought about the camera, they wouldn't act that way on national television.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
The cameras just disappear. They know they're there, but they just sort of disappear, and it becomes, you and me. We're looking in each other's eyes, and the cameras just tend to disappear, thank God. Or they would never do the things they did if they thought about the camera. I mean, these people embarrass themselves. It's incredible the way they behave.
How long is the reconnaissance that you usually do on a bar?
I'm there only 4 days.
Really?
So here's what happens. I go in and do recon. It takes about an hour and a half. I sit in a chair before I do recon. I get literally a 60-second briefing. John, they're losing this much money. George is ready to kill his partner. They lost their house, blah, blah, blah. They have enough money to make it 2 more months. That's all I know. I go in, do recon. Excuse me, I'm getting overcoat. After recon, what you don't see is we take the owner employees, I put them in vans in the parking lot, and I go in and I design the bar that night. Figure out the name, the logo, everything that night. The next day on camera is stress test and training. What you don't see is I'm signing off on bar stools, wallpapers, with designing the concept. By the end of the second day, the logo needs to be at the sign maker. All the food orders and recipes have to be done. The drink orders and recipes have to be done. All the furniture and everything has to be ordered. I can't get this. Now that doesn't match. I got to change that to get this. I mean, it's a freaking nightmare. Then the third day we start remodeling. So right after stress test ends, everybody goes home. We rip the place apart. We start remodeling it. That's the end of day 2. Day 3, we train in another location because we're building it. And day 4, we reveal it that afternoon. So I do build it in 36 hours, just like you see on TV. It's completely just like you see on television. Let me tell you a funny story. I'm doing a rescue in Southern California. And in my 60-second briefing, the producer tells me, the husband's coming home at 4 or 5 o'clock at night. The wife is ready to leave him. Their bar's losing a fortune. It's destroying their marriage. They have 3 kids. I say, great. Let me do recon with the wife. So I put the wife in my SUV. The screen comes on, and we're watching the husband interact. And she gets in the van with a gift bag. And I look at her and say, oh, what's that? She goes, it's my 14th wedding anniversary. I said, oh, is that a gift for your husband? She goes, yes. I said, what'd you get him? She says, divorce papers. Ooh. We didn't know this was coming. Then the camera goes on, and we're watching the monitor in the SUV, and a girl walks up to her husband and says, are you married? And the husband says, there's no ring on this finger. The veins are popping out of her throat. She's ready to frickin' lose it. So I look at her. Her name was Edith. I looked at her and said, Edith, this is your chance. I've got your back. You need to go in that bar and prove to your husband that this is a new day, that you will not tolerate this anymore. She goes, yes, I got it. She gets out of the van, goes inside, punches him in the mouth, throws a drink in his face, and rips his shirt off. That's bar rescue. You never know what's going to happen until it happens.
Wow.
Talking about football, Marshawn was an incredible episode. I mean, hanging with him that week. And his bar was an incredible episode because he hired all people that were ex-cons and people from the neighborhood that he was trying to help out. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's trying to help his community, the people around him. And these were, I went in, they were like all gangbangers and stuff. When I left, we were like best friends. It was incredible. It's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah,
that's great. In the spirit of your book, and once again, it's called The Power of Conflict by New York Times and Wall Street Journal best-selling author.
And LA Times.
And LA Times, and the star of Bar Rescue, Jon Taffer. Some conflict, because I know that we discussed when you did go on Fox News like 6 months ago, and the comments about the labor situation in America. I'm interested to hear Arian's take on this, because, and not to throw Arian like totally under the bus.
That's not.
But
I'm with it.
But Arian's like, he's big labor guy.
Yeah.
And so
what was the comments? I forget.
I'm trying to remember the exact context.
Well, he's here. Let's take him out of context. What was?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. We've had labor discussions about why aren't people coming back to work.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
I think it might have been along the lines that some of the COVID relief funds was preventing.
I was just concerned that people were being paid to stay home, and that people didn't have the incentive to work.
Mm-hmm. Which probably should have been the strategy from the very start of it. If we're going to just try to do a lockdown, just pay everybody to not go to work right at the start.
And then close the businesses and stuff.
Right.
But what happened is when a business, imagine you're an entrepreneur, you put a business together, you're paying the bills every month, and none of your employees will come to work because the government is paying them to stay home.
Right.
That's not cool.
So where are we at right now? Like, what's the future of the labor market in America? Are people, because unemployment's pretty low, right?
We're struggling. Restaurants, hotels are struggling big time to get people to come back to work. It's bizarre time. I can't quite figure it out.
But I feel like it isn't.
If you read, I was reading a statistic the other day that about 70% of Americans have under $1,000 in their bank account. Mm-hmm. And then 52% of them live paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm. I think it's higher than I think.
Why the fuck aren't they going to work then? I don't understand it.
I feel like unemployment's pretty low though, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's low right now, but I think,
and you can't survive on it forever, right? You don't get it forever.
I think what's happening is there's like a zeitgeist shift. People in America, and I think just in the workforce in general, are starting to feel as though the owners of these businesses are exploiting them. They're underpaying workers, and they're reaping all the benefits from businesses that don't work without the workers. And so you have big businesses killing labor unions and stuff like that. And so people are that's what I feel. And also it's that, and also the internet has created multiple avenues of revenue streams for people to have
Options.
YouTube, Twitch, like that stuff. Like, I mean, I ran a Twitch for a very small, like 100 people watching at a time, but like I get like $1,000 or something like that. Like, it wasn't big money for myself, but like that's real money for people. And so those combinations combined, I'm actually interested in your opinion on that.
It's lifestyle too. People see an opportunity. Look, wages are up. So people see an opportunity to get a better job someplace else.
Right.
I think you're right. I think that people are looking at quality of life differently today.
Yeah.
I think that, people are looking at bosses in different ways today. Yep. But I do take exception to one thing that you said. I don't know of any business that successfully busted a union. Unions are legally protected. You can't throw a union out of a business.
No, they try to.
Well, they try to, but
yeah.
Just like the union tries to put them in. They try to get them out.
100%.
That's the way the world works. But it's still up to the employees. Either they voted in or they voted out.
But you shouldn't have, in my opinion, right? You shouldn't have big corporations trying to
lobby against
against you. You lobby
Like
against
the-
you.
You know, it's
like
interesting, guys.
Amazon
It's interesting.
spend a lot of
I'm a
money.
pretty pro-union kind of guy. But here's a problem.
There's a problem.
If you worked for me for 2 years and you worked for me for 1 year and you're the best employee I've ever had and you just barely get by,
Right.
I can't promote him.
Right.
I have to promote you because you have seniority.
Right.
That bothers me.
Right.
So what that means is the employee who's really good, who really steps up, really does an amazing job, is 10 in line in seniority to be promoted behind 9 people who aren't as good as him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that bothers me about unions is the structure of promoting people. I'm the kind of guy, if you do great, I want to promote you, man. I want to give you a raise. I want to make you happy. I want you to be with me forever. Unions work against that too. So there's 2 sides to every coin. And I'm not anti-union.
On that same foot, though, a lot of promotions and a lot of hierarchies in businesses can come from nepotism, and I think that's the basis behind that, or like selective picking.
Well, you pick the ones that are going to make you the most money.
Not necessarily though.
Well, if you don't, you're an idiot. If you pick somebody who's not going to make you the most money, then you're an idiot.
I agree. I agree.
You could pick your son just to like keep it in house.
Sure, and everybody does that. But if I own a business, isn't it my right to put my son in it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, but I think it's if you put your son in it, right, you're doing exactly the opposite of what you said. It said this guy that's been busting his ass, right, over something that's nepotism. You're just doing it because it's that.
Well, I would think that if my son come in, he should work harder than anybody else
That would
to
be
overcome
the
what you're
idea.
saying.
Yeah, that'd
And
be
if he doesn't,
the
then
idea.
you're right. It's a political
Yeah.
issue, and the other people are going to resent him.
Yeah.
I agree.
One thing that I've just been thinking about a lot when it comes to labor in the United States and just the future of what the workforce is going to look like is retirement. Because I feel like 40, 50 years ago, people used to be able to retire at a reasonably young age. They had pensions. Like, can you imagine somebody my age getting into a job that had a pension plan where you turn 55, 60 years old and you get paid for the rest of your life? I mean, unless you're a police officer or firefighter, that's really the only 2 professions I can think of where it's commonplace to have a pension. Like, people used to be
Teachers?
teachers, but people used to be legitimately taken care of by their jobs when they retired. Now you see so many people working into their 70s, so many people that just work until they die. And that's sad to me that people have to, they'll never reach a point where they can retire and take time for themselves. They're always going to be going into work. Are we ever going to get back as a society to a place where, listen, you go to work, you work hard, you keep that up, you're loyal to your job, and you leave when you're 60 years old and you're
you get
able
taken care of.
you're able to retire and have a good rest of your life.
You know, it's interesting. General Motors payroll for people that don't work anymore is greater than those who do. So what happens at some point when a company's big enough and old enough is you have more people that have retired than are actually making you money. And what happens is you don't have the dollars to pay for the people that are working anymore because it's all going to the people that aren't. So you're right. And we want that. That's the way society should be. But the economics of today don't allow that. We live too long. People live 80, 85 years old.
Man, so we live too long.
No, I'm just saying.
It's
I'm
Bill
just saying
Gates
years
stuff.
ago that wasn't the case.
I know what you're saying. It's hilarious.
So it adds 10 years or so to the pension time.
Yeah.
So some of these companies are struggling to pay their current employees while they're overcoming the pension. Guys, it's all numbers.
Yeah.
You know, it's all black and white numbers. I can't give you money I don't have. Mm-hmm. So the question becomes, we're looking at taking taxes, corporate tax rate in America. It's proposed now to bring it up to about 35%. That would make us the highest corporate tax rate in the world. China is under 30%. If that happens, then I have even less money for you. So what happens is every time the government taxes us, that's money that comes out of the economy. I can't pay it to you. I can't buy anything with it. I can't do anything with it. It's gone.
Do you think that a company like General Motors, though, if they got like a huge break on their corporate tax, they would just choose to pay that to their employees directly?
Well, I think they have liabilities to their employees that they have to meet. So, I think that they would have to. I mean, pension plans are legal, guys. You have to meet those requirements. If they got government money, I would think they would earmark it that way to protect it so it didn't. But it's a challenge, guys.
Corporate
Economics
tax
are a
rates,
challenge.
if you look at corporate tax rates, in the early days, right, when conservatives, I don't know your political ideology. I assume you're right leaning, but conservatives back in the heyday of what they say of America was, corporate tax rates were really high. They were like 50, 60, even 70%. So like what has changed with conservatives' ideology that now they don't want? Because from the studies I've seen in the economic studies that I've read, trickle-down economics doesn't work.
Oh boy, I disagree with you.
I know you do, but and so
let me show you. Let me prove it to you. 3 years ago, when Trump was president, and I'm not pro-Trump, he lowered corporate taxes, tax rates. The next quarter, 750,000 new business applications were filed. The highest in history. We didn't have 750,000 new business applications filed in a year. Every quarter, 750,000 new business files. Those would not have happened if it wasn't for those tax reductions. Let me finish.
Okay.
Those people all went and hired people. They went and signed leases. They bought computers. They bought office furniture. All of that happened because of the tax cuts in the corporate world. You see, we in the corporate world want to make more money. Mm-hmm. The way we make more money is by growing, right? Adding products, adding people, adding locations, adding cities. That's how we grow. That's how we make money. When taxes are high, we can't grow. So we're stagnant, and that affects everyone. Trickle-down has been proven to be successful. You might not be reading the right things.
I'm reading the...
I'll tell you, when the taxes got lower, I hired 4 more employees. Everybody in my company got a significant raise when that happened. So
sure.
Trickle-down worked for my people.
There was like a decade-long study that came out that said it doesn't work. But like I said, we'll agree to disagree there. Yep. But so I guess my question is, why was, like, because when you talk to conservatives in general, like they'll say back in the day, like they're talking about the 50s and 60s and 70s, but those corporate tax rates were really high. So I'm just curious as to what has changed as far as the mindset.
Well, they were never 50, 60, 70%. I mean, corporate tax have never been that high. They were up in the 30s.
The highest corporate tax rate in American history was 53% in 1968.
That's what I'm saying.
But not 70.
Okay. Yeah. 50,
Yeah,
60, 60%, but I still
but
leaps
also
and
that
bounds
was
high.
not a great economic time for America.
Right, and it was only for 2 years.
And then they lowered it. You know why they lowered it? Because the economy was failing because the corporate taxes were too high. So the government doesn't give money back unless they have to, do they?
I love this guy. We should have him in more.
No, I'm going to tell you, if they lowered taxes from 53 to 35%, there's a reason why. Because they destroyed the economy by raising the taxes that much.
What year was it?
1968 and 69, it was 52.8%. And then the top rate was hiked last in 1993 to 35%.
Yeah, so it's been a while since it's been at 35% then.
Well, no. Under the
since
Tax
Clinton?
Cuts and Job Acts of 2017, the rate adjusted to 21.
Oh, it's down to 21.
And that's when everything exploded, guys.
Yeah, but
Unemployment was the lowest in American history.
You really think that
When
like
that happened,
that
business
700
startups was the highest in American history.
You think
when that happened.
750,000 people were like, "Oh, taxes are lower, so now it's time for me to start
You bet.
that business"?
That's what I don't buy.
You bet. That's what they said.
You don't think
I'm sure
it has
it had-
anything to do with like
I'm
the
sure it had
bounce
an
back
effect.
from the recession?
No.
I'm sure it has like an
No,
effect.
because the timing went right to the tax reduction. The fact of the matter is that it was smarter to open a business with a 22% corporate tax rate than a 35%. It was an incentive for people to start businesses.
Yeah, I guess I'm not smart enough to know how to get there, but I do know that a lot of people my age and younger they look at the world and very realistically see that they don't have a path to retirement ever. You know, like they could start investing in a 401k, but that's also rolling the dice too. And with wages what they are, it's like it's very tough to advance for a lot of people that are in my demographic. And like I feel for those people. It's like if you think that you're just going to have to keep working every day of your life until you die, that's a pretty bleak existence to have to look forward to. I think that affects people in obviously like mental health ways as well, especially if they have a job that they don't necessarily love, one that they just go to for a paycheck. I just
So
feel
lower
like
the taxes and everything changes.
I don't know if that fixes the entire problem. I don't
If
think
your taxes went down 10% and you just took half of that money and put it into a retirement account, by the time you were 65 years old, you'd be in a good place. But the government's taking that money from you, so you don't have it.
I'm trying to do the math on the compound interest. I mean,
that's a fact, guys. That's
This is
a
my
fact.
favorite guest we've ever had on this show.
So here's a
So
question.
understand, taxes don't serve us well, guys. Taxes just take money out of your pocket. So I ask you the simplest question
we
of
got to
all.
have schools, right?
Who's better with your money, you or them?
I have never started a school or a fire department. So when it comes to that, the government's better at that. than I am.
I understand that, but that's a very basic tax rate that we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, when they start talking about society changes and economic changes and motivating you to do this and not motivating you to do that and societal architecture and all that with your money, who's better with that money, you or them?
Societal architecture, honestly, I wouldn't trust myself that much, but I see your point.
Yeah.
Your point is that, you know, there's certain things that you can be more efficient with than the government is. But I just...
You know, I look at a family today, makes 50, 60 grand a year, 3 kids. Tax rates are high. They're going to go up. They're paying $6 a gallon for gas. He's got to get back and forth to work. I mean, I think about those people every day. It freaks me out how people are struggling today in our country. And I just know if taxes were lower and they could keep more of their money, it would mean the world to them. Much more than to me. It would mean the world to them.
So you don't...
And that's who I'm being an advocate for, is that middle class, middle income family who's really struggling today. And a 10% pickup in taxes would be huge to them.
Well, I agree, but the majority of people that argue that taxes should be a thing aren't arguing for the middle class American to have high taxes.
That's my viewpoint.
That's what I'm saying. I agree. I would agree with that. We're talking about people who make way more money than that, like myself. I should be taxed at a higher rate. You should be taxed at a higher rate.
Well, you can go write a check to the government right now, buddy. You can pay a higher rate.
That's silly though.
Why? If you believe that, then why don't you do it?
Because if we're talking about making an impact in the macro, then we're not having a serious conversation about me writing a check to any government agency. That's not a serious conversation. What I'm saying is if we tax people at a high rate who are making more money, then more, because the reality is a lot of people are living check to check and they need assistance. People who have retired and don't have those pensions, don't have those, they need assistance. And if we live in a society and we claim to care about people like we care about, then to me, it's incumbent on us to have something for those people. And to me, I don't mind paying my fair share, right? And I guess your argument.
What's your fair share?
I mean, that's I guess that would be debated, right?
Because that's that's a political term, my fair share. And that's a political term developed by a political party. What is your fair share? 70% taxes? You okay with that? 80% taxes?
It depends on how it's divvied up, right? There's different ways to split the pie. Like they say, okay, if you make over 500 grand, every dollar after that is 70 or whatever the case may be. There's different ways to divvy it up, and I feel like that is that's debatable. But I feel like if I'm getting taxed the same, if I make $5 million last year and I'm getting taxed the same as somebody makes 50 grand a year, that's ridiculous.
Okay, let me throw it at you a different way. When I make money and I do pretty good, I build restaurants with that money. I don't build up my savings account. I don't build up my stock portfolio.
That's noble, but that's you.
That's me.
Right.
I put money back into businesses.
Gotcha.
Every time I open a restaurant, I hire another 120 people. Right. So if you take that money from me, I'm not going to open those restaurants. I'm not going to create those jobs. Guys, there's two edges to this sword.
I agree. But let's say that same amount of money goes to somebody like myself growing up that had government
That
cheese.
helps you, but 120 people don't get a job for that.
It helps me eat though at night.
But 120 other people don't get jobs because of it.
Let's say it helps 120 people eat that night.
Well, I understand that, but guys like me who hire those 120 people need to be protected. You know, Abraham Lincoln once said something very profound. He once said, if you want to take care of the employees, protect the employer.
That sounds like something
Pretty smart.
an employer would
Pretty
say.
damn smart. Well, it's pretty damn smart, because if the employer doesn't make money, there are no employees.
Sure, but if there's nobody buying the product, then there is no employer.
That has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about.
What? How?
I see what Arian's saying,
How?
I think, which is like the consumer needs money to be able to afford.
Yes.
Well, guys, I just said that the
Items.
average person has under $1,000, 70 in a bank account.
Yeah.
Consumer confidence until the past 2 months has been higher than ever. Spending has been higher than ever. There's no relationship between spending and income. The two don't travel hand in hand.
I would agree with that.
So then what you're saying isn't meaningful then.
No, that's not true.
When you're saying if he doesn't have the money to eat,
Yeah.
he'll have the money to eat.
What I'm saying is well, people in general in this
Here's the point,
country
guys.
overspend.
Dollars
And
fuel growth.
Yeah.
Growth creates jobs. When jobs are in growth situations, people get promoted, they get raises, and their lives get better. When growth is stagnated, none of those things happen. Higher taxes, at a minimum, reduces that, and in some cases eliminates it. That's my point.
Yeah, I think we'll go round and round about that, but I definitely appreciate the perspective.
The
me
power,
too.
the power
Me too,
of
buddy.
conflict.
Here's a
You know what? But that's a great example because
Yeah.
we were respectful. I'm really curious about what you're saying. Your
for
view
sure.
means something to me.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a great discussion.
Yeah,
for sure.
I might have opened his mind a little. He certainly opened my mind a little. We're both better off for that talk,
Facts,
aren't we?
And we disagree. My man Big T, we disagree all the time. But it's like I tell people all the time, like you got to be able to sit on the other side of the aisle with somebody and just talk diplomatically. Like I don't want to fight you, bro.
I think-
You know what I'm
and
saying? It's
stick up for what you believe in.
So I also think that
Bang.
the more people don't disagree with each other, then the more they just spend time in their own heads thinking about like the worst caricatures of what their opponents are as humans, and they don't get a chance to like talk to them
And understand
and
their
realize
side.
that they're a real human being.
You know, look at the news channels. There's two perspectives. You can pick one channel as conservative, another channel as liberal. Whichever one you watch the other one for a while so you learn about the other side.
Yeah.
Learn what they think, why they think. It's a great exercise to understand other people.
Bill, you have some?
I was going to pose a question. Basically, I found a bunch of pictures because I was taking them. This is back to the labor discussion of chalkboards, like when you're walking into a restaurant saying, please be nice to the servers because they're the only ones who showed up.
Right.
And I took a bunch of pictures of those during COVID. They've sort of gone away, but just to
A
go
number
back
of
to that
people
point.
posted stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, please don't scream at the ones who showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for a while, I feel like so many people were looking to just like post things online. We were talking about the gas prices the other week, and my idea. Tell me what you think about this. Here's another business idea. I don't know if you're in the business of like gas station rescue yet, but here's what you do: you put up like $6.50 gas outside, the most expensive gas that you've ever seen, and then people will go to your gas station so they can fill up their tank, so they can take a picture of how much money they just spent on gas and then post it on social media and be like, can you believe these gas prices?
I can't believe you said that. I was in Beverly Hills the other day, and gas was $7.40 a gallon.
Yeah.
And I had to pull into the gas station to take the freaking picture, but I didn't buy gas, but I did take the picture.
But yeah, did you go into the gas station?
I did. I pulled in. I didn't buy gas, but I had to take a picture of the 740.
And you probably, if you were thirsty, you would have gone and gotten a
Got a
drink
Coke
or
or
something
something,
like
sure.
that. I'm telling you, just like have the fakest, highest gas prices in town. People will show up just to take those pictures.
So why not put the gas tenders in tuxedos?
Yeah, there you go.
Make it $45 a gallon. You get a glass of champagne with it and create
Yeah.
the world's most elegant gas station.
I actually love this. That's a great idea.
I didn't know this, but my shorty stay in Oregon, and in Oregon, you're not. It's against the law to pump your own gas. And so
Really?
the first time I pulled up to the gas station, I was about to get out, and he was like, "How much do you want?" Or like, "What pump?" I'm like, "What are you talking
Yeah.
about, bro?" And they got a vest on, and she was like, "Yo, in Oregon, you can't." And I'm like, "What?" So you pull up and they do it for you. I was like, that'd be a fire little. That'd be a fire little.
Same with Jersey.
In Jersey, yeah.
Is Jersey like that too?
You can't
Oh,
buy your
yeah.
own gas. You
Okay.
can't pump your own gas. But yeah, John, I love that idea. The world's most high class gas station, and it's like
Just have like a tiled, ground,
Yeah,
really well decorated.
That's a good idea.
You probably,
I ain't
you
gonna
probably
lie.
have
I like that
like set up a guest list, so like people pull in and you're like, I'm sorry, sir, you're not on the list. You
So
you can't buy this gas.
Instagramming their photographs at a gas station.
Yeah,
I got a picture of 99-cent gas in southern Wisconsin.
Right now,
It was like 2 years ago. That was pretty sick. 99-cent gas.
that's crazy, Billy.
Are you sure it wasn't old Milwaukee beer?
No, it was gas. I'll find it. It was at a truck stop.
What's the best cheap beer in the world?
Coors Light.
Well, no, that's not cheap, Billy. That's high quality.
Old style, maybe.
You like old style?
Old style's pretty good.
In your opinion, what's the?
I mean, for an inexpensive beer, Busch is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not. I like it when they serve it in the camo.
I
pack.
think
Yeah.
Keystone is the best cheap beer.
why is
It's a Coors product.
why is wine not really prevalent in bars like that?
It's interesting. It's just most bars will only do restaurants even under 5% wine sales.
Yeah.
My Taffer's Tavern in Georgia does about 30% wine sales. It's unusual.
You don't think? I mean, you
It
don't
all
have like a
depends
reason.
upon age groups.
Got you.
A younger guy like you is not going to be much of a wine guy.
See,
He'll
I
be
am,
more of
though.
a
That's
beer.
crazy. Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
just-
You just
I-
profiled him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. Like, so the wine has been my thing. I took a trip to Napa probably like 3 or 4 years ago,
You got
and
into
like it changed my. And I don't know the taste and
Yeah, because most of your peers are not wine drinkers.
yeah, that's
right?
facts. And when we go out, it's like, why are you drinking that, dog?
So I have a problem, and that's I tend to leave my debit card at bars all the time. And as a matter of fact, there's one right across the street right now that I left it on Saturday before I went to the fight at MSG. I need to pick it up there.
Apple Pay, bro.
They just straight up like put 20% on there? Because I never check my receipts every time.
Well, that would be illegal.
Oh, they can't just put
That would be
20% on there?
illegal. No. That would be illegal for them to do that. They can't put a tip transaction on your credit card and close it out.
Okay. I just assumed that every time I picked it up.
Yeah.
'Cause
Unless
sometimes
they
don't-
say service charge included somewhere, and it has to be a sign or something that says that on the bottom of your
So
check.
it's
or
legal as long
somewhere.
as there's a sign that says okay. I overtip every time. I give people a
I'm at 25%, especially these days, boy.
I'm usually like
People,
30 or
I want to reward the ones that came to work. I recognize we're all having financial issues today, so I really think we all need to tip around 20 to 25% today.
And you have to, because I'm sure, like, you go into a bar, everybody in the restaurant knows, like, Jon Taffer's here. He's going to yell at me if I...
Yeah, and the guy's a dick. He didn't leave me a tip. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Then your picture on the receipt gets posted online. Everyone's like, "Oh, Jon Taffer's not a tipper." So you're like a 25% guy. Now, is that standard? Like, if it's just drinks at a bar, do you tip the same way as you would when you're tipping for a meal? Let's say you get $50 worth of beer at a bar.
Yeah, but it tends to be the person for me. If my check is $50 and I really thought the server was great, I'll leave a $50 tip. Mm-hmm. I've left $100 tips. I like to reward people, who are worthy of it. It's meaningful when that happens, especially from a guy like me. Mm-hmm. The fact that I thought of them and did that. So I'm pretty gracious in those ways. When somebody's great, I want them to know it.
I overtip. Even if like somebody's shitty, I tend to tip them anyway because it's like maybe they just had a bad day. I had a bad day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but those great ones deserve it.
Yeah, for sure. I
they
overtip
deserve
all
that
the time.
recognition.
Yeah.
Billy leaves. Where you leave NFTs? You leave the crypto wallet.
Okay, well,
this actually links to
let's be
fraud
real here. Let's be real
t-shirts.
here. I cannot graciously tip because I'm on a salary. I can't be given $50 tips on $50 bills.
That's all right.
If I tip like 25% consistently, that's fine.
I say tip if you can. Like, I think it's a luxury, honestly. I wish it wasn't, but it's like some people can't afford it, and that's all right. That's all right, bro. I overtip.
But remember,
for that,
in some places, employees make $2 to $3 an hour because of tip credits.
And
so they really need that tip money to survive.
that's part of the labor discussion.
I've always said that if
Well, I'm against that.
if you can't
Perfect. Yeah.
if you can't afford to pay 20% tip when you're going out to eat, then you probably shouldn't be going out
I
to eat.
completely
at that
agree
point.
with that.
I was
Your money's better spent buying groceries and
That
until you
employee
get
worked
to a
just as
place-
hard for you
Yes.
as somebody else.
Yes.
I was
shouldn't
in
pay them.
I was in Germany a long time ago, and we was at a restaurant, and crazily enough, the restaurant was packed, and my shorty at the time, we was looking for a table, and the waiter was like, "Okay, the table's ready," and it was like a whole table full of people, and there was 2 seats right there, and I was like, "It's taken," and they were like, "No, here, like you're allowed to sit with other people." But anyway,
Communal table.
yeah, it's a custom over there, and so, but after the thing, I left a tip, and she was like, "No, don't do that. It's like disrespectful to leave a tip over there because they get paid enough." And
Yes,
so,
it's included.
Yeah, and so in their salary they get paid enough, so you don't have to tip, which I would like here, but I love that custom over there.
So in Florida, the state of Florida spends about 30% of their budget every year for travel in Europe. So a lot of Europeans come. They don't tip because they think it's included from home. It's the opposite for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what they do in Florida is they do automatic 18% during tourist season because of the Europeans.
Yeah.
And it isn't that they're jerks or they
yeah,
don't
they
care.
just don't know.
Just a different culture.
Yeah, they
right?
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got one last business idea for you. And you can take this one. I know I've given you probably like $1 billion worth of just
Oh, yeah, I'm going to
free-
do all these things. I'm
free
investing
ideas.
all my money in these deals. When
You let me know if you're doing the upscale gas station. I want in.
That's
on it.
actually
in?
fire.
Okay.
That's actually
want-
fire.
sort of a cool idea.
That's actually fire.
I will.
yeah.
I will invest in that. You'll be hearing from my financial guy. But my last idea, and I've been pitching this to a few people also, is what about the Titanic 2? I want to build a giant floating bar restaurant, but it's the Titanic.
Same route.
It's the same size boat as the original Titanic.
That's
Tickets.
a big freaking restaurant, man.
Yeah, no, it's a top of the line like luxury thing. The inside is designed the exact same way. It sails the exact same route as the first Titanic. This is the important part. There are the exact same number of lifeboats on this one. So you're taking your life into your own hands, right? But people would do it to sail that same route, and it's just a big, giant floating party. I feel like there's some money to be made there. I don't know. From a
I got to
business
say, the same amount of lifeboats.
Yeah,
it's sort of a cool hook.
From a business liability perspective, I understand why people would be hesitant to get involved in it. But I'm telling you, people would pay top dollar.
Life is more fun when you risk your life.
Yes, and people, yes, it means more. When you get to land, you'll be so much happier. You're like, well, we made it. My life is saved. But like, people would dress up the same way that they did back in 1912 or whatever.
So what do you call those people? Nurkers, or people who dress up like other people?
LARPers.
LARPers. I was in San Francisco shooting a bar rescue 3 years ago, and there was some LARPer convention going on. It's the strangest 2 days of my life. You know, Twain is coming down the escalator. Abraham Lincoln's going up the escalator. They're all in character. They won't break character. Really bizarre stuff.
I love that.
You'd have the boat filled with those larkers.
Exactly, yes. And I actually think that it would sell out. I really do.
It's like a 1900s anime convention.
yeah.
Steerage goes crazy.
You should go pitch the idea to a cruise line.
Yeah, I should.
I'd
No
go.
condoms on the boat.
Have you ever done?
I'm out.
No. Have you ever done a cruise? Cruise rescue?
Never done a cruise.
Have you ever
rescue,
like worked for a cruise company?
I've consulted to them.
Why do people go on cruises?
Well, first of all, they're sort of fun.
Are they?
The excursions are sort of fun. Being on a boat is sort of fun. I mean, you eat. I mean, it's a different experience. Yeah, why do people climb mountains? Why do people jump out of airplanes?
I don't do either of those things.
But somebody does because they find it exciting and fun.
Yeah, I just feel like a cruise, it's like you're pretty much in jail floating on an ocean for a while.
Well, you know, it's funny. The first time I went on a cruise ship, I sat on a boat and I thought to myself 2 hours later, I said, "Or what the fuck do I do now?"
Right. Like I would go hang out by the pool, get a drink, and then it's like, okay, now I'm just going to do this for 4 days.
But you got a casino, you got some entertainment, you got excursions, you swim with the dolphins. You
there you go.
I feel like it's a great way for people who don't know how to relax to figure out how to relax. You know, because they can't work.
Yeah, like Fisher Price, My First Vacation.
Yeah. Like make you like not work.
I like that.
You know, it's true though. When because I work all the time, right? So I get phone calls. When I go on a cruise, I'm completely disconnected, and that's cool.
That is nice. Yeah. That's another idea for a bar, just a bar where it shuts down all your cell service so that nobody can be on their phones when they're inside.
Put a blocker in there if we played with that idea.
One of the have you?
Huh.
I would probably go to one of those bars. It forces you to log off for a while, and I think we all need that.
We used to have this thing called selectrocution years ago, where everybody came into the bar and they wore their initials on their chest. So mine would say JT, and there was a message board on the wall, an LED message board, and I could text JT. I want to meet you for breakfast. DM. So now I got to look who's wearing a DM. You got one DM. You got another DM. So I say either yes or no. So all night long, people are selectrocuting each other and texting with each other. At the end of the night, if there's one person who wasn't chose by anyone, they've been selectrified, and we embarrass the hell out of them and pull them up on stage and stuff.
It's embarrassing, yeah.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just take my phone away in a bar. I think that would be nice. All right, so thank you for coming in, John.
My pleasure.
By
Good
the
to
way,
see you guys.
You mentioned Taffer's Tavern,
Yes.
right? There's one that's opening in D.C., or is it already open?
Matter of fact, you were talking hockey a little earlier.
Yeah, I saw it right next to
the Stanley Cup will be at my restaurant in Alpharetta, Georgia on Thursday.
Okay.
So I'm meeting the Cup there on Thursday, which is always cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have lunch with the Cup.
I was walking past Taffer's Tavern in Washington, D.C. when I was at the Caps game.
Oh, it's being built.
Yeah, it was being built out. So maybe, yeah.
We're right by the arena there. Let me know next time you're in town.
I will absolutely let you know that. It looks like a wonderful place. So check it out. The Power of Conflict. Speak your mind and get results that you want by Jon Taffer. New York Times, LA Times, Wall Street Journal, best-selling author, and the star of Bar Rescue, Jon Taffer.
And your buddy.
And my buddy. And we're going to do a Bar Rescue recon. We'll be in touch.
Guys, I've been coming to Barstool for 10 years.
Yeah, you have been around.
Portnoy and I and Big Cat did Blog Rescue 10 freaking years ago.
That's crazy.
It's amazing, man.
It's crazy.
Every time I come here, it's like family, guys. I love it here.
Well, thank you for coming back, John.
Good to see you guys.
Appreciate you, buddy. Okay.
That's raw chicken. I forgot to say that.
Yeah, that's true. You know what that is? That's black mold. That can kill you. I loved old school Jon Taffer. He just charge at people.
Yeah.
He was really good at just like, he would get up in their face and say whatever the hell he wanted, and no one would ever say anything back.
I wonder if he had hands though. That's what I used to wonder when I was binging his shows. I was like, well, like if he pressed the wrong bar on it, though, somebody gonna fire on him. But then again, like, you can't, because he's like about to spend like $100,000 to remake your bar. You can't really swing on him like that. Like,
yeah, you know what he's really good at doing is when he's having conversation with bar owners, and he did this a little bit with us too today, where he'll talk to you and then he'll start nodding his head as he's talking, and it makes you subconsciously
agree
and start nodding your head. He's really good at that.
Yeah.
Like the body language, the small stuff about communication, where
Yeah.
he's like, and then you're going to want to take the glasses and you're going to clean them every time. And they're like, they're like, yeah, oh yeah, of course, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I like the inviting nature he has, even though like we disagree politically, obviously, but like I like the inviting nature that he has. Like he makes you feel good when you talk to him. Like, yeah.
We did fact check the Abraham Lincoln quote because in the moment I was like, seems like one of those memes. Seems like he saw a picture with some words on it at some point. And we think that might be, would you say, Cap adjacent?
Yeah.
Might be Cap adjacent.
Definitely.
But yeah, it was a good conversation that we had with him. So we're gonna get to some more reality show stuff and some conspiracies and things that happen behind the scenes, scandals in reality television. What's your guys' favorite reality show?
Oh. Okay, so I never watched reality TV. I judged people that watched reality TV. Then the pandemic hit, and so I was just inside. I have circled back and watched almost every reality TV show, and I fucking love them.
You a Survivor guy?
No, I haven't done that one.
Okay.
But like Love Island is my shit. Love Island is my shit, and I looked into why people. Well, I guess we'll get into that. But yeah, Love Island.
Okay. What about you, Big T?
Are we counting? So for it to be a reality TV show, does it have to be like some sort of competition or something, or like is Last Chance U a reality show? Because that's like it's a documentary, but are we counting that?
I would say that counts as real. Like Hard Knocks is reality television, right?
Right. If Last Chance U counts, then it's that. Well,
there's definitely two separate styles of reality TV.
Right.
One which is just like a documentary, and then the other which is a competition.
Yeah, that's obviously different than like The Bachelor or something.
But on the other hand, I would say that Real World is definitely reality television, but it's not a competition.
That was one of the first ones, yeah.
Yeah, Real World might have been the first one.
Was it the first?
Yeah, I mean, it was going
on a while.
Well, and that comes into the back. What makes reality TV? Because game shows are they've been a thing since what, the 70s, 60s.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, shit, and even talk shows. That's kind of reality TV too.
Yeah, I think when you look at American Idol, I would say that's reality television.
Definitely.
Because there's like stories that get built into it. Like on a game show, it's like every episode is self-contained and every segment is self-contained. Where it's here's this competitor trying to win this money.
Got you.
In terms of those kind of shows, the first version of American Idol, I watched every episode.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I think it was season 2 then. Tamara Gray.
That was too early for me.
No, it was like the first. Oh, you didn't watch the first season.
I mean, that was what year was that? Like 2000?
I think it was the second season. Tamara Gray. I don't know where she is or what she's doing, but I was in love with her.
So that was 2003. Yeah, I was 6.
You wasn't watching American Idol, though?
Not that I can recall.
That was one of the first shows I was allowed to stay up late for, the American Idol finale.
Oh, yeah? Did you vote?
I did. I voted all the time.
Did you really?
Yeah, dude. Adam Lambert, Mad World.
He was a kid. That was a great performance. Actually. That was a great
insane.
performance. Yeah,
what do you think is the GOAT season of American Idol? Because I would say it probably has a lot to do with how old you are, because you all identify with like certain times in your life. I would say season 2. That was one that was Clay Aiken and Ruben Studdard, I think, right? I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't know the lore.
Mine was Chris Daughtry's
I was
going
to say Daughtry.
because that was when Sanjaya was on. Remember Sanjaya?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had crazy hair and everyone just kept voting him in because of his hair.
That was season 2, yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, the Daughtry one. You know who's obsessed with Daughtry?
Who?
Jeff D. Lowe. Like has an unhealthy obsession.
A lot of good songs.
Yeah.
A lot of good songs on those couple albums.
Kelly Clarkson was a good one.
Yeah, Kelly Clarkson. That was the Justin Guarani. Was that the season 1?
Yeah, she won the first season.
She won first season. So yeah, it was her and Justin. I remember that in season 2 there was this woman that was on there. Her name was Frenchie. Do you guys remember Frenchie? Mm-mm. She was a really good singer. She got kicked off the show because it came out that there was like a topless photo of her that was taken back when she was in college. She like posed,
how times
she
have changed.
I know, really. She posed topless and they booted her off the show. And then like a couple years later,
That's crazy. That would have increased ratings.
Exactly. Like I don't know why they said like, well, it's not the image that we're trying to sell to our sponsors.
Oh my
What,
God.
you have tits?
You have boobs?
She has boobs. We don't want our sponsors to know
Preposterous.
that. And then a couple years later, there was a woman that was on the show. Her name was I want to say it was Barba. I think it was Barba. Antonella Barba was her name. And she got kicked off. Or sorry, she didn't get kicked off, but videos came out of her like naked and sucking dick. And they kept her on the show. Then Frenchie was like, wait a second, why did I get kicked off? Then it became like Frenchie was a black woman, Antonella was a white woman, and then it became like a big controversy of why they had a double standard.
Damn.
And then later on, I remember Antonella Barber, I think she got arrested like 2 years ago for selling like hundreds of grams of heroin. She was like a heroin trafficker.
That's fire.
Yeah, I think she's in federal prison right now.
God damn.
Yeah.
Pants on the ground. Have you remember him?
I
Pants on the
remember
ground?
him.
Pants on the ground. You're
Pants on
looking
the
like a
ground.
fool with your pants on the ground.
That's why I watched American Idol.
William Hung, guys like that.
William Hung.
Yeah.
And he blew up because of that shit.
He probably got paid. He probably
Easily.
made a lot of money.
Easily. You remember Pants on the Ground, Billy?
Yep. Then remember that other guy? I felt bad for him but he was doing like By the Waters of Babylon, and he was really bad. There was a couple of bad auditions that just went viral every time.
Yeah.
So what reality show was your GOAT, Billy?
One that I've been watching lately, Forged by Iron. Yeah.
Bruh. It's on Netflix.
Forged in Fire.
They make, like, they weld, right?
Yeah. They weld, they blacksmith.
Yeah. And it's like people
Sick.
like they either make a sword or whatever, like you have a competition. I had no idea why I started watching that, but it's like very entertaining for some reason.
Is that one of those shows that you would classify as being like oddly satisfying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When somebody makes something with their bare hands and
Yes.
it turns out to be like perfectly smooth and the perfect shape.
You know also why it's a bunch of people who it's a passion. Like there's not they don't get no money for welding shit, right? But it's people who just like they'll have like their little setup at their house and it's their hobby that they do on the side and they just love to do it. And I kind of enjoy watching them do their thing.
Anyone that has a craft that they get really into, I respect that.
Facts.
What about you, Avery?
I mean, the greatest reality TV show ever, season 1 of Jersey Shore.
Jersey
Hands
Shore.
down. The first season of Jersey Shore like set the tone for reality TV, in my opinion.
Can I tell you a secret?
Go ahead.
I've never watched the first season.
Oh, fuck off.
I've watched a couple episodes. Like
I've never seen it either, but I know.
I bounced in and
What's
out.
the shorty, the famous shorty?
Snooki.
Snooki. Yeah.
Like I know the note when Ronnie was making out with chicks at the bar, right?
And
You have
then
a house on the
situation.
You're like going to the Jersey Shore and you've never watched Jersey Shore?
I never saw the first. No, I never watched the.
You have to watch
entire
it
thing.
in this summer at the Jersey Shore. You have to watch it. It's just
will.
like
What is it on? What's it? Is it streaming on something?
I don't know if you could.
check it out.
You should be able to stream it somewhere.
It was like I know all the things about it. Like I bounced in and out, so I know like Jim Tan Laundry. I know they used to call fucking smushing, right?
Yeah.
Greatest show to watch while you're pre-gaming. Just have it on in the background.
Cabs are here.
Yeah.
Jersey Shore.
T-shirt time.
What's t-shirt time?
It's when they go pick out their T-shirts.
Okay.
It's when the wife beaters came off and the Ed Hardy T-shirts came out.
Oh my God.
Got it,
Ed
okay.
Hardy, dog. That whole era was skulls
Tap
and
out
lightning
gear.
on your shirts.
Uh-huh.
Bad.
I'm so jealous that you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch the entire thing. Now I have seen like episodes here and there, but I've never seen the first season altogether. Just know their names. Let's see: Snooki, Ronnie, JWoww,
The situation.
That's
That's the funniest shit in the world, dog.
who else am I missing out?
Sam.
Oh, Pauly D.
Sam
Are you
was
sure you haven't watched it, bro?
No, I know enough. It's become part of America.
Angelina. Angelina, when she got kicked out.
I've
Everyone
never
hated
seen
Angelina.
it. I've never seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, she was the run to the litter.
Yeah. She used to pack her bags with black trash bags.
Mad Dog, what was your GOAT?
I grew up watching Real Housewives of New York. That was the best. That and Jersey with Teresa flipping the table. Like that, I remember where I was. I was like 11 the first time I saw that. That was like ingrained in my memory. But Real Housewives of New York is no matter what mood you're in or no matter what's going on, there is something that they're doing that's just way more entertaining than anything you'll ever do in your life. And in terms of the Real Housewives franchises, I like that they seem to have the most going on in terms of their own lives. Like Bethany Frankel, you've interviewed her. I love Bethany Frankel.
She's a mogul.
She's a mogul, and now she's a TikToker. She's turned into a TikTok influencer. So I love Bethany Frankel. Luann.
Who's the bad person? Who's the villain?
All of them. Ramona.
Okay.
Ramona Singer.
That's what reality TV needs, is a good villain. Do you remember that? I know you haven't seen too much of Survivor, but I remember there was this one dude named Johnny Fairplay on Survivor. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? Mm-mm. They did a competition where one of the contestants was going to get to spend a day outside of the Survivor camp setup. So they get to go to a hotel room and they get to go get spa treatments and things like that. Really just take a break from the desert island lifestyle. Yeah, there we go, Johnny Fairplay. And so the way that they were going to do it was all of their family members, they would each get to pick a friend or family member that would come to the island to visit. Then all the contestants would vote to see who would get the day off. And so it was like a big strategy game. His buddy came and Johnny Fairplay was like, "Oh, I'm waiting for my grandmother. Why isn't my grandmother here?" And his buddy was like, "Yeah, dude, she's dead. She died. Your grandma died." And then he flipped out. He's like, "Oh my God, my grandma's dead." And everyone voted for him to be able to go take the day off because he just found out that his grandma died. He made the entire thing up. Like his bro just came in and they agreed to lie about that so they could get the day off.
That's crazy.
It's an all-time villain move. I respect the hell. Like that's the thing though. If you're on a reality competition like that, you have to expect that everyone's lying to you.
Yeah.
The people that forget that everyone is lying to you are the people that get themselves in trouble.
And see, that's the thing. So I was on a reality TV show. I was on, what's that shit called?
Speaking of L's,
I don't know.
It's Super L.
Challenge?
Well, it was for charity. They was like, we'll give you $100,000 for your charity. So I was like, bet. It was Stars versus Champs or something like that. It's Champs and Stars. I don't know. It was on MTV.
Was it the challenge?
It was a
real?
spin-off
Challenge.
of the
There you go.
challenge,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a challenge. There you go. And I'd never watched the challenge. I had no idea there was games being played within the, it's just the wildest shit. And so I got into it with a few of the cast members just because it was I was like, yo, y'all are backstabbing. It's just weird. Y'all are weirdos. It really is we're just playing the game. I'm like, y'all are liars. Y'all lie. And so it's none of that made the camera because I was really yo, I'm not, this is drama. I ain't into the drama shit. But you could just see how it was very, and the producers would script shit and hey, you go over here and talk to him about this. And it was just really, I was like, yo, this is not my speed.
Wow.
It's really weird.
Yeah, so you didn't know that you were getting into people that loved reality, the game aspect of it, the competition aspect.
Yeah, it was wild.
Did you win?
No, I lost the first challenge. It was as against J-Lo's boyfriend or his ex-boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, the dancer dude.
Mark Anthony?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think so,
no,
yeah.
the dancer.
Oh, he was a dancer, yeah.
I think was it CT?
No, that's not J-Lo's boyfriend.
Casper.
There you go. Yeah.
There's this
dude.
website called the Challenge Wiki, and I guess it has a page on everybody that's ever been on the show.
Yeah.
So for you, it says episode challenge stare down partners red team elimination history Casper.
Yeah, he got me. They had us hit these baseball bats, or with a baseball bat we hit this thing that spun, and the more you hit it, it tightened. It was just really stupid, but I was really trying. That shit hurt, and it ended up hurting my hand, I peeled skin off my hand. But I lost. He got me. It is what it is.
Damn.
I've been trying to find footage of it.
Sad.
I was looking for it before the episode, and it's nowhere. So
Good.
You got scrubbed or people scrubbed it?
Yeah, I muted the challenge in my Twitter.
What about you guys? Have you ever been almost on a reality show?
I wish.
well,
I wish I was on a good one.
Tried to get casted in one?
I feel like this is sort of a reality show.
yeah, my
is.
life's a reality show.
That's true. That's true. There was so Rudy, the guy that was coming in earlier that was filming for behind the scenes stuff, he applied for this show. I think it's called Naked in Love, where you just go to an island, you're just naked and you get set up on
Yeah,
dates
it's
with people.
it's like the spinoff of Naked and Afraid.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
fire show. I binged that.
Naked and Afraid.
Yes.
I watched one episode and there was simply too much crouching for me.
My friend's dad almost made it on Naked and Afraid.
What
Really?
is crouching?
People just crouching while naked.
Oh, the actual. I thought that was
Yeah,
a term.
no, people are
what?
No, they're building huts. They're starting fires. The entire time they're just crouching. Everyone's crouching all the time in that show.
What body posture is?
I just think to myself the last place I would ever want to be crouching and naked would be in the woods.
So
Just have your balls dragging across the dirt and stuff.
Your balls don't touch the ground when you crouch.
It depends how deep you're crouching. It depends how hot it is.
it depends on how deep your balls hang too.
Yeah, I don't
He
think
said
No.
he says you had little nuts is what he just said.
That's what Billy said.
No.
Yeah, I don't think my balls hang that much deeper than a normal. I think I have normal balls. I just think that if
5'8" balls.
yeah, 5'8" balls. If it's humid outside and I'm crouching and I'm sweaty, I'm sure that the balls are gonna be hanging low. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to drag them in the dirt.
It's actually funny how much of squatting was part of like the lifestyle of like, because before toilets, people crouch. People still crouch. Like overseas, they have flat toilets. The
Squatty
toilets
potty.
Yeah, squatty potties.
Squatty potties were made for that. They have one of the most brilliant ads ever. I might have said this on this podcast, but they have a brilliant ad for their product, and I sold it. I mean, I bought it.
It's
They
changed
sold
your
it.
life, right?
You're talking about the stool they put in front of the.
Yeah, you put a stool in front of it because it's evolutionarily that's how we evolved
Yeah.
to defecate. Is your knees are supposed to be in the chest? It opens up your intestine and it flows much smoother. But we sit down when we defecate now, and it actually ruins our process.
Yeah,
it's not good for you.
I heard that's like one of the reasons why colon cancer. It's a contributor because it's not natural.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, but I definitely know that it causes a lot of what's it called when you can't shit? Constipation. It causes a lot of that.
Huh.
What different controversies have you guys looked up surrounding reality shows?
I don't know if this is this isn't a reality show, but it's kind of has to do with television or movie. The Wizard of Oz. In the original Wizard of Oz, there's allegedly somebody that hanged themselves in one of the sets.
Oh, really?
Like, you can
it's
see
in
it
the
on the
background?
original film. Yeah,
Let's go to Google.
Let's check. Wait, were you on Hard Knocks?
I was.
So that's 2 reality shows that you've
I
been on.
was. I hated that shit.
Yeah.
With a passion.
What'd
So-
they make you do for Hard Knocks?
They were just that was just
Are they
that
just
was
recording?
real. That was recorded. They did try to. I hated it because I saw people around me start to change. Like I saw cats on the squad that was like doing shit for the cameras, and I was like, yo, get me at it. So like anytime a camera was around, I was like, I'm straight. Like don't play. So if you watch that season, I wasn't really in it because I just hated it. I hated the act of everybody. There was one scene that would have been interesting now that I'm thinking about it. When I was in the league, it's not normal to have like an atheist, and so everybody was always intrigued by it, and everybody was in. So like one of the we always had conversations, and we had like this big group conversation. We were talking about religion and all this stuff, and the camera came. I was like, no, please get the fuck out of here. But that would have actually been a good one to have a camera there, but I just wasn't with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that's a private moment that you were having. There were some people on that was like the famous JJ Watt, where he was like staying after practice every day, singing Fort Minor to himself. Just didn't know the cameras were there on the practice field. He was completely oblivious to that. Just happened to catch him out there. And I mean, if you look back at it, like JJ Watt that's when he was at like the peak of his corniness, I think. It kind of worked for him. Like he built the image that he wanted.
Not kinda.
Yeah, it really worked for him. He built the image that he wanted. Now I like JJ. I think that he's like he's mellowed out a little bit, and he kind of recognizes that he did a lot of like really cringe stuff back then. But it worked. He built his image.
Getting back to the hanging munchkin. So in the original film, in the old version, it was blurry, so it looked like there was a figure in the trees. In the new digital remastered version, it's a bird. It's like a prop bird.
So it wasn't real.
Wasn't real.
Got you. Didn't do my due diligence.
My friend Wes, he's on Hard Factor right now, but he was on a show called Dad Camp on VH1. Do you guys remember Dad Camp?
I remember the name of it.
It's a show that came out back in like 2009, I want to say 2010, and it was supposed to like educate young unwed fathers who are like completely irresponsible on how to become an actual adult to raise a kid if they're going to have kids.
And your friend was on
My
it?
friend Wes was on it, but the funniest part was like everybody on that show was like 18, 19 years old, and then Wes was like 28. It's like, wait, why do you need to go to this? And basically they were saying Wes needs to go to this because he spends all of his time drinking and hanging out with his bros, and so the bros was me and like my friends, and so they showed up and like just filmed us like playing beer pong for an afternoon. They're like, look what an asshole Wes is. All he does is hang out with the boys. We're gonna turn him into a dad. And apparently that thing was like super staged. Everything was like micromanaged behind the scenes, where they were like telling them stuff to do, things to get mad about. It's very easy, I think, to like manipulate a reality show. I think the best ones aren't manipulated at all, but those are, it's a really good reality show actually, is Intervention.
Oh yeah.
You guys ever watch that?
Oh yeah.
Intervention's a show that
sad as fuck, but it's really good.
it's sad, but sometimes it's like inspirational a little bit.
That's true.
I like Candy. She was my favorite of the interventionists, the older lady. She was really good at it. That was one of the original sit down and binge shows.
Yeah, intervention.
We used to play it all the time on like
or
A&E.
Hoarders. Hoarders is a fire one. I just like, you never seen Hoarders?
I've seen it. Yeah,
It's like
whenever an episode ends, I always think to myself, like, there's no chance that this person is changing
No
their
question.
life,
No,
right? Like,
no.
does anybody ever go through Hoarders and they completely turn themselves around?
I mean, I don't know. I've never done the recon to see after the recidivism rate, but I know the majority of people that hoard, like it's trauma.
It's like an addiction.
Yeah, and it's usually tied to some kind of like emotional suppression that they haven't dealt with, something in their past, and so it's not just about cleaning their shit up. It's about actually addressing the emotional issues that they haven't yet.
Yeah.
And so it's rare that happens in life anyway, much less on a TV show.
It's refreshing to see like the house change at the end when they clean all that shit up.
I just like to see the worst houses. Just like how bad can it? Like there was like this lady with dead cats.
There's always
in
cats
the
involved.
Yeah. Yeah. Lonely people love cats.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what that is.
I have a relative who was a hoarder. And I had to help clean it up. It's pretty bad.
It's bad, yeah.
Yeah, it's
there's
sad.
there's dead. I think I saw the dead cat one.
That was bad. I seen one with rats. I seen one where it's like this lady, she shit and peed in a bucket. Like because the bathroom was filled up with stuff. So she just has a bucket.
What is that makes people hoard?
It usually has to do with trauma, like
not being able to let go of things.
Yeah, they're afraid that they
so they're emotionally attached, and so like they'll be like a thimble, and they're like, don't throw that out. Like
but there's like hoarding where it doesn't get that bad, but it's like hoarding of old possessions.
Yeah.
Sometimes when like people die, they'll just take all their stuff and put it in their house.
Yeah.
And like, so for example, if like your grandfather dies and he has all this stuff in his apartment, you're cleaning it out. Some people just take all of it and keep it because they don't want to let go any part of the person.
Right. I'm like exactly the opposite. I will throw anything away fast.
I wish I could do that. I'm not a hoarder, but I have a hard time. Like I don't really realize that it's time to throw stuff out sometimes.
I throw it away. If it's been in there, it's gone.
Yeah. I'm the type of person where I think that everything has some sort of utility, if not now, but in the future. So it's always good to have stuff around.
I might need this. Yeah.
Drill bits.
Signs.
Like
have you seen signs? I've seen signs.
Yeah.
The little girl just keeping half drinking waters around.
The water.
Just in case.
Mm-hmm. You've never seen Signs, Billy?
I've read the Wikipedia plot.
Okay.
I've done that with a lot of movies. It's just more efficient.
No, it's not.
Instead of seeing the movies, just read them.
Well, also,
you should just read Spark Notes instead of reading like Tale of Two Cities.
Yeah.
Now you got to see the movie. Well, you don't actually.
Oh,
have to see the
speaking of movies, dude, I saw a sick movie over the weekend. The Northman. It's awesome. You guys have to see.
I'm not saying any movie any of you motherfuckers suggest.
Okay, but this is like.
Nah, until y'all see my movies.
I
saw your movie.
You gaslit me for months though, man.
I saw your movie though. All due respect, I like Ready Player One. I think it's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
I think it's a good
I
movie.
get people tweet me all the time like I watched it because of you, man. Some dude said this movie sucks. Like fuck that guy.
I don't think you can say that movie sucks.
How could you say that? It's unreal. That's just such an amazing. Everybody say the book is better. I might actually read the book because they said the book is better.
Oh, I didn't even know it was a book.
Yeah, it's a book first.
The Wikipedia was sick.
Did you Wikipedia it?
Yeah.
I like that. That's how Billy he'll see the list of like the Oscar nominees every year and be like, okay, I'll go watch these, and he'll just read the Wikipedia summary of it. That movie sucked. That movie was good.
So what's your metric for good or bad movies? If you read Wikipedias?
For example, like I was in like rabbit holes about M. Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Movies, and I just like read all the plot twists, and I was like, "Whoa, these are awesome!"
I was like,
Damn,
whoa.
I didn't see that one
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you read a paragraph of the plot twist instead of watching it out.
Yeah, because then like,
Oh, he was dead throughout the entire Wikipedia article.
but then I'll like,
Crazy.
They were
I'll,
dressing up as the monsters.
yeah, like I'll read, but like I honestly feel like I sometimes know the movie better than people who just see it.
You
Shut
don't.
the fuck up.
No, because I read all the background, like like read into that.
Oh
It's so
my
much easier.
God.
So for example, I
That's
did this.
so funny though. On many levels.
This is Billy's mindset in a nutshell. He'll read like the biggest summary of things and think that he's an expert. More than
No, but
I know you
actual
saw the movie, but I actually know it a little better than you.
no, because like for example, there's that one, The Man in the Tower. Do you know that series? It's like it's a historical fiction where the Nazis won World War II, and you're reading it, and there's like so many plot things that you don't pick up in the series. But if you like read a bunch of the synopsises,
That is true. Sometimes I'll find that if I watch like an episode of The Sopranos, and then I find myself later like reading a entry on that episode, there's stuff that I did not catch as I was watching it.
Damn, there's your W, I mean.
exactly.
There's your W.
I still watch the episode though. I don't just read it. So it's something to consider. I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but just think about it.
Yeah.
Would you guys say that reality TV, like why do we love reality TV?
I think it's because it's like makes you feel better about yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm not crazy
You're
like them.
Look at these psychos.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like that for me, but I just like to talk shit about people. But it's not like I'm better than you. It's just I watch it to just trash people. It's just my way because I'm generally a nice human being. It's just my vice.
Yeah.
I just watch it and be like, what a piece of shit. Like and that's it. I don't actually think that of them, but while I'm watching it, we just trash them. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love the drama. I love it. And I never was like this until the pandemic.
I think that's kind of the same thing with politics recently, where it's like, well, the other side, like they're just awful human beings or whatever.
Some of them are though.
I got
I'm just-
into I got into Love Is Blind, and I watched season 2 of that.
Oh, I love that show.
There's some real villains in this one.
That's absolutely.
Some real weirdos.
Absolutely.
I love it though. It's like such a
Shake. That dude is hilarious.
I got brunch at Nabu tomorrow, so I'm good.
He wasn't wrong on some of the stuff he was saying though.
You just can't say that.
You can't
in front
say
of the
that.
cameras.
Yeah, you can't say that stuff. You because what he's basically saying is like, I have a standard. Like, there's nothing wrong with having standards. It's shallow, but that's your standard. What he was saying, but he was saying it in very bad ways, though.
It's always funny because they always they make sure to call the reality show like an experiment. This is a psychological experiment. Like when you see the people introducing their parents to the people that they met when they're in those like little, what do they call them? They always say like back in the rooms or whatever.
Yeah. Is it the
Pods?
pod?
Yeah, back in the pods. Yeah. They're always like, yeah, we were participating in an experiment. They're like, no, you're on a reality TV show.
Yeah.
And one thing I don't think I realized until I was probably like 21 was the trick to all these reality TV shows are they just get them drunk all the time. So the real world, they're just hammered. They're not allowed to have TVs because nobody wants to watch a show about people sitting around watching TVs in their homes. So they
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
actually.
they never watch TV. They don't watch the news. What's that? Billy, just a light bulb went on for Billy.
No, I just remember this one reality TV show called Floribama Shore, which was supposed to, it was like it scratched the itch that Jersey Shore caused, but it was supposed to be basically like a southern Jersey Shore. I don't know if it really got off the ground. Is it still going?
It had a couple seasons. I don't think it's still going, but
It was really, but like also everyone, like so many of the dudes on reality TV shows are juiced up, and I think they do that on purpose to get them to like roid rage on camera.
Yeah, the producers are always looking for the most combustible personalities.
Yeah.
And if you keep them drunk and you get like some real hotheads, then that's when you get the actual drama.
Like when the situation headbutted a wall instead of fighting Ronnie.
Who can
Italy?
forget? Yeah.
Then he was rolling around in a neck brace.
See, I need to watch this. Wait, that was season 2 though, right?
No, that was when they went to Italy.
Yeah, so that's not season 1.
Or 2. It's like season 4, I think.
Okay, so I need to watch. If I had to watch a season of Jersey Shore, I watch season 1.
What's the premise? They just get faded and go out?
It was even before the Real World, right?
No. Real World was like early 90s.
Yeah, it was like 90s type.
I don't know.
I remember High Tech or Tech.
Tech. That was a great season.
That probably jumped off reality TV, honestly.
That was in Hawaii,
season.
right?
Uh-huh.
It was Tech, Rosie. Rosie was a mess.
It was just drama filled.
Yeah, the trick is they just get them drunk all the time.
Yeah.
What's your
Temptation Island's a fire one too.
Really?
I love the premise. Yeah, you never seen Temptation
I
Island?
never watched Temptation
But I
Island.
envy that because I'm waiting for another season.
Is that the same-
early one and the new one?
is that the same thing as like too hot to handle?
No, Too Hot to Handle is not the same. Temptation Island is like so you go there as a couple. You go there as a couple and you're figuring out the relationship, and you have one. You end up splitting up on 2 separate islands, and the guys go on an island that's filled with girls, like single women that just trying to seduce you, and same with the other side. And then you have like, the ceremonies and stuff where you can see videos of what the other person is doing, and then you can leave them a message back and forth, and it gets really nasty. It gets really wild. And that's really is, I would say, it is a reality TV show, but that actually isn't a social experiment.
Yeah, well, I just don't know why you would ever go on that if you were a couple.
No, that's the stupidest shit in the world you could do.
That's like the new one, The Ultimatum. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
No.
I love it.
It's so couples go that are kind of unsure. Like one person is like, oh, we need to get married. And the other person's like, I'm not ready, yada, yada, yada. And then it's all of these couples, they go and they're all in the same boat and they're all just put in this like house together.
Yeah.
And they can all just like fuck each other, basically.
But yeah, it's the weird shit about that is like, so imagine 8 couples or 10 or whatever, and they all kind of just swap spouses. Like,
yeah, it's like all
you
your
pick
swapping
one.
partners.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh wait, maybe I'm actually meant for this person.
It's really weird.
Why would you ever go on a show like that?
The
Why
dumbest
would you,
shit in the
Why
world.
would you ever take your significant other down to that?
The dumbest shit.
Do you think you get paid to do shows like that?
Yes.
Like before?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a check for it. The one show that I'm thinking of that's become like more of a recent thing that kind of goes against all this that we're talking about of how you watch it because there's villains and people that you like to be like, oh, they're such a piece of shit, is what is it, the Great British Baking Show? You watch that?
I love the Great British Baking Show.
So it's like a really positive show, right?
The best vibes ever, and they're all fucking British. Oh, I love that show. That was like my college binge. I forgot about that.
What is it about that show that makes people love it so much?
So all of the judges are actually not like assholes to the people, so it's like a warm hug always, and they're British. I don't know if they have the same like pull to it in Britain as I do, and all of the people are looking out for each other. Like there's people, like if you're competing against Billy, for example, like I want Billy to do just as well as I want me to do well. Like there's a less like cutthroat vibe to it, and it's like we're all just making cake, we're all having fun,
biscuits,
we're in a tent. They're in a tent, like that's like they're outdoors, they're in a field somewhere. Like it is
sound like my kind of reality.
it is a warm hug.
I want the drama.
But there's like there's no drama, and then they're just making like beautiful treats. But the other thing is that they're British treats, so you don't really know what you don't really know what the treats are sometimes.
Yeah,
the allure, the mystery.
It's like, oh, what is that like weird jelly filled cake you're making? I don't know.
There's a new joint on Netflix called Bullshit with Howie Mandel. Have you seen that one?
No.
That one's fire. It's actually really fun. I binged it this weekend with my kids. My kids loved it. So one person goes up and it's against 3 people, and they ask you like a trivia question, and you answer it, and only you know if it's right or wrong. But the 3 people, they don't know if you're telling the truth or not. You say, okay, it's C because blah, 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 blah. And they have to tell you if you're bullshitting or not. And if one person says that they agree with you, you can move on even if you got the answer right. But if you get the answer right, you move on anyway. But they're like questions like nobody knows the answer to. And so, and the incentive is if the more accurate you are with if they're bullshitting or not, then you get to go up.
Okay.
And it's like a tier system, almost like so it's you start at $10,000, then you go to 75 or 50 or whatever. It's all the way up to $1 million. And there's like, I think, and I'm gonna spoil it, but yeah, it's really dope.
I like competitions where lying is like a very integral part of it. We have a guy here at this company, Tommy Smokes, who's obsessed with Survivor, like completely obsessed with it, and the gamesmanship and like all that shit.
Has he been on it?
He has not been on Survivor, but we did our own version of Survivor here, and he won. And everybody knew going into it, like, Tommy is going to be the guy that's going to lie to you. He's going to be a real piece of shit. Don't trust anything that he says. But he was still able to manipulate everybody into voting for him.
That's crazy.
When he needed it to happen. Yeah. People that get really into Survivor, it's like a huge, like, it's a cult almost.
Yeah, it's a thing.
They get obsessed with the show.
It's definitely a thing. You seen The Prophet?
I've not seen The Prophet.
Prophet's fire too. It's almost like Jon Taffer. He'll go, I think he's a little more involved in the business though. Like he'll go and he'll go to struggling businesses and he'll tell them what's wrong with all the operations, and he'll say like they're going to invest into it for a certain amount of the ownership, and he like flips the businesses. It's actually really interesting.
Who's the guy from that? I feel like do we talk to the guy from The Prophet? It sounds very familiar.
Let's see.
I don't know.
The Prophet.
One of my favorite reality TV shows while we're waiting, Elite 11. Great show. Trent Dilfer.
Marcus Lemoynes. Marcus Lemoynes.
Lamonis.
Yeah, you go. That guy.
Oh yeah, I know that guy.
Right. It's a really dope show. I like that one. That's a lot of good business advice in there as well. If you're looking for a nice little binge watch.
The Prophet. I'll check it out. Do we have any other reality TV topics we want to get into?
Have you guys seen the one? I'm blanking on the name of it. I have a video. Hold on, but it's the show. It's a show where, oh shit, I can't believe I can't remember the name. But there's the person, you know, who's the contestant, and their family is sitting with them, but they'll ask them subjective questions about themselves, and it's up against a lie detector test. So the person took a lie detector test, and they'll be like, okay, you know, do you have a bachelor's degree, or, you know, dumb questions like that. And then they increasingly get harder, and they pick the most trash human beings in the world. And it'll be like their husband is sitting right there, and it's like, do you think you and your ex-boyfriend were meant to be together?
Oh shit.
And it'll be like, no. And then it's like the lie detector's like lie.
That's my
and then they'll
kind.
bring out the ex-boyfriend, and then it's like, have you had sexual relations with this person since you've been married? And then they find out they've been cheating on their husband, like, on the show.
What is this one called?
I gotta find.
That's a lie detector.
I have to find it. Like, oh, I can't believe it.
A good rule of thumb is if you're in a stable relationship with anybody, never go on a reality show ever.
Or if you've done
Nothing good
if you've
has
done
ever
shit
happened.
like
It's
this,
called lie
don't
detector.
go on this
It's
show.
called lie detector.
But it's like the lie
Well, they
detector.
probably asked them before they got on the show to, like,
What, to cheat on their husband?
or to.
Is it called lie detector?
It might be.
I remember Cheaters.
Cheaters was goated.
So that's
Yeah.
that's one that we can get into a little bit, because there was a stabbing.
Wait, what's the
episode of
show? Wait,
Cheaters.
what's the show?
So you don't know Cheaters? Cheaters was with a guy, I think his name was Joey Greco, right?
I don't remember.
He was the host of the show, and people would contact him because they're like, hey, I think that my significant other is cheating on me. And then he would set up like behind the scenes stings, and then he would take the person that was being cheated on, and they would like hide out in a van, and they'd stalk the person that was cheating, and then they'd confront the cheater while they were with the person they were cheating on with. So it's like, it was the ultimate confrontation, and there was a stabbing. I think Joey Greco himself got stabbed.
I heard. Matter of fact, I do remember this now.
when he was confronting somebody. I'm looking it up right now.
That show was dope. So they did a whole bunch of recon on it. So like they would set up, like, it was basically like a PI investigation, and so they would take shots, candid footage of them going out to dinner or leaving and going from an apartment or something like that, and then they were like, okay, we have enough. He's definitely cheating. Do you want to confront him? And they'd be like, yeah.
So one of the show's best moments occurred on an episode in 2003.
One of the show's best moments.
I think you'd have to, if you're going to go that far and be like, this was one of the best moments, just say it's the best moment.
No question.
Either say it's the best moment or the worst moment. It's not like, it's definitely top three. It was an episode in 2003 when a woman contacted Cheaters about her boyfriend and his alleged cheating, and led to Cheaters investigators eventually finding homeboy frolicking with his mistress in a boat off some random dock. In the scene you see above, the episode climaxed with a violent altercation between the wiry cheater Mitchell of a boyfriend and the show's second host, Joey Greco. Joey ended up getting stabbed in the ordeal, with all kinds of security and crew members trying to restore some order. The boyfriend was seen subdued while Greco lay on the boat bleeding out from his stomach. So, all right, not to defend the guy that stabbed Joey Greco, but if you're in a boat and you're fucking and somebody barges in the door, I feel like you can stab that guy, right?
It depends. I never known him on that show from me watching it that he like is real busting down doors. It's usually they wait for them to come out kind of deal.
Right.
So I mean
If there's a stranger that just gets on your boat,
if
like, what's this person doing on my
Yeah.
boat? I can stab you.
if that is the case, then I agree with the stabber. But the majority of altercations I've seen Buddy get in was they were always like waited for them to come outside of the restaurant or something like that.
International waters, anything goes.
Facts.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Inside Edition reported that the entire story was staged.
Ah.
A woman by the name of Cassandra Terrazas said she was paid $350 to portray the other woman, and that the entire ordeal was filmed on a dock owned by a Cheaters producer. While it looked like Mitchell was being taken away by the police after stabbing Greco, there was reportedly no evidence of any arrests for that ordeal during this time.
It was cat,
and
bro.
was said to have been filmed. The ambulance was rented. Greco was using fake blood, and the entire thing was allegedly scripted.
That's disappointing.
Huh.
That's disappointing.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I'm kind of hot at that angle.
By the way, speaking of stabbings, our coworker Glennie Balls is bringing like legit stabbers into the office.
What happened?
His OnlyFans podcast. Turns out there's like 3 OnlyFans models who have stabbed people and they're still functioning. And it's like, I don't understand why all these women are stabbing people.
I think we should be using the word allegedly in this
heavily.
conversation.
No, the stabbing happened. It's just, was it self-defense or?
Who is this?
Look it up. There's like 3 of them.
I need to know who it is to look
Just
up.
look up OnlyFans stabbing. There's like tons.
I think that's like a kink or fetish type thing.
I don't know.
word?
I don't understand why people stab like.
It's like a pain.
If you're in a
thing.
situation like, is your first like people whose first like thought is to stab someone as an act of violence is crazy.
I'd rather get shot.
But like, would you ever stab somebody?
Would I?
Like
I don't
hypothetically,
have
you're in
a
a situation.
tool, but yeah, if I had it and I was in danger, yeah.
But like, when you're like, do you think like, I'm gonna stab somebody?
Probably.
I just can't wrap my
Yeah.
head around stabbing someone. I can wrap my head around punching someone, but not stabbing someone.
It's just like punching somebody, but with a knife.
But like, you have to think that out. It's not like a moment you like think there's the knife.
I
go
agree.
Pick up the knife.
But nobody
No,
thinks
I
like that.
I agree with Billy that I'm anti-stab under most, but if it's like self-defense, then you have to do it, right?
I don't understand your. Are you saying there's too much thought that's involved to stab
Like
someone?
as like some of these crimes are crimes of passion, which occur due to impulse. But like for impulsive acts of violence, going to the kitchen, finding a knife, and stabbing someone is too calculated for me to understand how someone could go through with that.
How is that different than like grabbing a gun and shooting someone?
Well, usually you have the gun on you.
Not
Most of these
necessarily.
occurred with non-combat knives.
Well,
with
what if they
kitchen
have
knives.
a gun or a knife on them, or it's by them?
I can't even.
I just think stabbing's so personal.
It's definitely more personal.
Rather get
That's for
shot.
sure.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Shoot me anytime. Just don't stab me. That's got to be so painful.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to be stabbed.
Gunshots are sterile. The bullets are so hot, it cauterizes the wound when it gets into you.
Then why do you bleed out?
Because
Punctures the skin.
Because wait, it has to do with the internal bleeding of stuff that gets cut.
It punctures. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we want to cover in reality TV? I can't believe I forgot about the stabbing. I'm kind of disillusioned now that whole thing may have been fake.
My childhood is a lie.
All right. You guys want to do some voicemails?
Sweet.
A lot of that shit was staged though. Reality TV.
I'm sure a lot of it is. Yeah.
But a stabbing, it like
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Like, whoever
I
came up with that
I
idea. And that,
expected better from Joey Greco.
wait, give me 2 seconds. I've just
imagine having to act stabbed.
No. I'm gonna do some more research onto this.
Yo, did you see? I generally don't think Trevor Noah is funny. Like he's kind of dry to me. But did you see his joke about Ron DeSantis
No, what did he say?
at the White House correspondence dinner? It was funny. He was basically. I'm gonna butcher it, but he was basically saying how I see you trying to be like Trump. I see you. He's like, I see you, man. And he goes, he said, you ban all the math books so that they can't count the votes. I see. It was good how he set it up. It was good. It was funny. I usually don't think he's funny. That was funny.
You ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, this is Gavin from Rockford, Illinois. My question for you guys was, if you could pick one item to know how many there were of that item in the world, what would it be? I might have phrased that bad, but like, for example, I would love to know how many buried treasure chests there are in the world. Just the number of them. So, yeah, if you guys had anything like that, love the show. Arian, Maddie, you're gorgeous. Everyone else, y'all are handsome. Love you.
Love you too.
Shout out to that guy.
That's a good question. I've thought about that before. Buried treasure. Did people used to straight up bury treasure, or is that just something that like cartoons have taught us? And
Blackbeard's is still in New Jersey. No one's found it.
how do you know?
I don't.
How do you know he had buried treasure though? Why would they
Because-
bury their treasure?
Blackbeard was big in New Jersey.
But why would a pirate bury their treasure? Why didn't
Because they couldn't put it in a bank.
I guess not.
But why wouldn't they just carry it?
Because
And then why would they make
could
a map?
steal it?
I do.
guess-
I like
I mean-
the idea of finding a map and then going and discovered a buried treasure. I just don't know how frequently it happens.
I did that with my kids. It was really dope. So I created like I hid things all over the house. There was like 8 different things, and the last thing, or there were maps. So I hid 8 different things, and each map led to another map. And the last map had this we actually bought a toy treasure chest, and it had a whole bunch of fake gold coins, but it had candy and shit like that. It was one of the funnest things I've ever done.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. There's this thing that people do. I forget the name of it. It's like an entire online community where they go out to like specific coordinates and people leave behind like little
Geocaching?
Geocaching. Yeah, people leave behind like specific like little trinkets for people to find, and then you have to go search by the longitude and the latitude of it. It's kind of like it's like looking for buried treasure.
Oh, there was that billionaire who hid treasure in Colorado that people are still trying to find.
That's true. Yeah. So that's a true story. There's a guy that left a shitload of money out, and he left like little clues behind in some of the notes that he left, and people have been looking for it for a while.
Discovery of Forrest Fenn's chest of gold leaves treasure hunters demanding answers. It was found. The Denver Post.
What was in it?
Let me pull it up. So he hid it. He gave it geolocations. Miriam DeFranzo learned Forrest Fenn's treasure had been found. There's so many freaking pop-ups.
I kind of want to hide some treasure at some point.
Well, she was in a Texas hotel room. God damn it.
I wonder if we could do that with. Could you do like an internet treasure hunt?
We should just go put something somewhere in New York right now.
Where? There's no ground to
Let's
break.
hide like some treasure somewhere.
Like in Central Park or something?
I'll find a place.
Okay.
It's what they call this, the concrete jungle. Where you gonna bury it?
Yeah.
We don't have to bury it. We could
Central Park, scary though, ain't it?
No.
No, I thought
just
that thing was
in the
scary.
Grove
What's
after
scary about
midnight.
I don't know. I heard like a lot of shit go down over there. I actually don't
Actually,
know.
who knows what happened after the pandemic? So there used to be like tons of crimes was taking place in Central Park.
That's what I heard.
I'm sure. I mean, it's a huge area, but like for the most part, it's
pretty
a park.
There was a lot of
I might bury some treasure at the Jersey Shore this summer.
You know they used to do them. It ain't quite treasure, but it low key is. Like kids from like 100 years ago would like write letters and they would bury them in the ground or whatever.
Time
Capsules.
Time
There you go.
capsules. Yeah. I've always thought that it'd be very funny to make like a fake time capsule and have somebody discover it 500 years from now, and it's just like me fucking with them the entire time. I think my idea was like record like the national, like the NFL Super Bowls. It's just all Washington Commanders, like a dynasty in the 2000s. So 500 years from now, people will be like, wow, that was a really important football team. They were just all class.
What was his question?
If you could know how many there were of any one
Time
thing
machines.
in the world.
Yeah.
Well, that's 0. I can
You
tell
don't
you
know
that confidently.
You don't know if there's a time machine?
I'm on Big T side.
I feel like we would have heard about it.
Yeah.
What about like Sasquatch?
True.
How many Sasquatches exist in the world?
UFOs. Well,
I would like to know if there's like anything in the ocean of interest. I'm sure there is, but like some shit that would like shake our understanding of like either biology or geology or something like that. That's
like
what I wanna know.
underwater civilization.
Yeah, something like that. Or
That's not like the question, though.
But if there was
is it
something,
one of anything?
No, it's how many of something that
many
you
of
already know
these-
exists.
Oh, he didn't say already know exists.
Well, but that's understood.
No,
like,
it wasn't. That's
how
right.
many of something?
No, he didn't say that.
That was the question.
No, it
like how
wasn't.
many wheels and doors? That's my answer. But I'm picking 2. I want wheels and doors to show people how many more wheels there are.
Do you think there's more wheels?
Oh, infinitely. By a large number.
Why you say that?
Factories. Every hotel room that you go in that has 2 doors and it has a chair with 4 wheels. Like there's so many more wheels. It's crazy.
But a lot of the things with
think I
wheels
agree
have
with you.
doors. Cars.
Cars that have 4 doors have 4 wheels. And that's not even including like little machinery in it that probably has wheels in it.
Wait,
yeah, that like negates.
And then bikes have wheels too.
But what
Yeah.
about the glove compartment? The back
Ooh,
hatch?
That's not a door. You know how I know people, I've said this on this podcast before, but the people are like, well, if you count caskets as a door, like then you're admitting that you lost because you know there's
Are
not
gears
enough doors.
wheels?
Gears?
Gears, yeah. Because that's
No.
what usually are in the
That I wouldn't count that
machinery.
as a wheel, no.
Well, then that goes against a lot of your factory.
I'm gonna say.
I agree with Big T.
Yeah.
I mean, even in this room, like there's one door and there's maybe 15, 16 wheels.
Oh, brother, look at all these things. Three,
Yeah.
three.
Every bike in the world.
Yeah, all the bikes. I think the
tons of
bikes is
bikes.
actually tips over the
Like
scale for me.
in China, all the bikes over there.
Europe too. They
Europe.
have like very strategic and grand parking systems for bikes.
I'm shocked that more people don't get run over by bikes in the Netherlands.
yeah.
It's like everywhere you walk, you have to be on the lookout for these people. Just very.
What's the argument for doors? I'm thinking about it. It's not even
I don't
close.
know.
It's a blowout.
I was just arguing it because
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm just in general. I've heard the argument before: are there more wheels or more doors? But I like, what's a good
I've
argument
heard
for more
people say
doors?
hotels. Or like, think about how many hotels. In every hotel, there's a chair on it with 4 wheels.
It's true.
And there's probably way more chairs than there are doors. I don't. It's a blowout.
Chairs versus doors would be way closer than wheels.
think about movie theaters.
yeah, stadiums.
What about them? For which one?
Chairs.
Oh,
I would like to know how many children of Bill Clinton there are out there. There's got to be.
That's a good-
Actually, 0.
It's got to be double digits.
have you seen
No,
that
no.
black dude that said he Bill's son?
Yeah, that guy.
That dude funny as hell.
I love that guy.
Dude, a lot of people say Bill Clinton's infertile. He has 0 kids.
Who says that? What about Hillary? Or I mean, Chelsea.
They don't think that's his.
I would like to know how many Qs there are.
Cubes.
Q, the
Like-
guy.
oh.
Q.
Oh,
Like
how
an
many
ear
kids?
cube?
I want to know if he exists.
I think they're.
Oh, Q.
Q.
I thought you were talking about Q-tips.
Nah, the Q guy. He's fucking funny to me.
There's probably 100 Qs.
That's what I'm saying. How many Qs are there?
You watched the documentary on HBO? I think it was on HBO where they followed the guys from 4chan for years and years and years and like kind of dove deep into figuring out what was
What is it
going
called?
on with
What is
all
it called?
this.
I'm gonna watch this.
I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. I watched it like a year ago.
Is
year
it
and a
Q
half ago.
documentary?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just type
it's
that
really it's almost certainly the guys that ran 4chan that were behind it the entire time. Like they've been able to track them down. It's oh shit, I now forget the guy's name. The guy that wore the cowboy hat after the election and went on TV and was like, yeah, this machine clearly got hacked into because he read the owner's manual for the machine and he was like, yeah, I understand how this works. Fuck, what was that guy's name?
Are you talking about the sheriff?
No,
What was Sheriff something?
not Sheriff Joe. I'm talking about the guy from 4chan. I'm gonna have to look up his name. I want to say it's Ron. Ron Watkins is what I'm thinking it might be. But yeah, him and his dad were almost certainly behind it. Like they basically proved it. Yeah, it was Ron Watkins.
That's fire. I'm gonna check that out.
Now he
I'm gonna watch
runs
that.
8kun and his dad Jim.
8chan?
8kun. He runs 8kun. He goes by Code Monkey Z.
I saw an article
fire
about
name,
a
actually.
monkey that was being given meth over the weekend.
We're giving monkeys meth now?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, some guy in Thailand was just feeding his monkey meth. But honestly, probably not the biggest, meth giving monkeys operation. That's how they started Adderall.
Really?
By testing.
Yeah, they gave the monkeys meth.
Do you
And you're
want-
for that though, right?
Meth?
No, animal testing.
I mean, no, what that was, we were talking about that in the scheme of experimental medicine on people who are terminally ill.
Do you want to apologize to Thailand?
Yes. You guys aren't all pedophiles. I'm sorry.
Billy got that one wrong.
No, that's not the quote. I said that. Yeah. I don't know.
No, that is the quote. You guys aren't all pedophiles. I'm sorry. Because Billy was struggling to think of a reason why anybody would go to Thailand unless they were a pedophile, which there's lots of reasons.
Bunch of reasons, actually.
There's a lot of reasons. Why.
I just learned about a lot of Thailand's tourism industry.
Yeah.
Good stuff you got over there.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place.
Allegedly.
Big T, have you been playing your Wordle recently?
Yeah.
It's been too easy for the last few days.
I
Yeah, it's
fucked
been
up
pretty
yesterday.
good. My girlfriend got today's on the first guess.
Yeah.
For real?
Not Wordle.
Sound
Not
like
Not Wordle.
Oh.
Worldle.
Oh, what's World?
It gives you the outline of a country, and you have to guess what country it is. So if you guess, if it's Botswana and you guess Nigeria, like if you're in the same continent, it'll tell you how far you are away and like what direction.
There's a dope one that my daughter put me on.
GeoGuessr?
Global. It's global. And so it's like you'll just say any country, type any country in, and then it highlights the country, and depending on what color it is, like if it's the darker it is, the closer you are to the country that it's trying to get you to guess. And so it's like you whittle it down. It's really good for like just kind of geography if you don't know the countries. It's really dope.
Did you see there's an NFL players one now?
Yeah, Weddle.
That one's so hard.
Eric Weddle.
Yeah, it's called Weddle.
That's funny.
And
That's
I think
actually
it's
funny.
every player with like, 5 letters? Or WEDD?
No, you just-
Oh, I guess it's 6?
No, you just guess. You just guess starting players, and it'll be like all of their stats of like the division they're in, their height, their weight, their age, like all that, and then you have to like get. My brain short circuited trying to figure out how to do it, and then Thursdays was AJ Brown, and then later that day, boom, traded.
I'd be shit at that.
We got another voicemail.
Yep, one more.
What's the number for the voicemails? If anybody wants to call in.
347-560-0401. It's in the Twitter header. Hit it up. I listen to them every Monday morning.
Hey, Macrodosians. This is Chad from Chicago. I have a question specifically for Arian. So I finally got around to watching Ready Player One, and I thought it was a pretty good movie, but I couldn't help but feel like it was just a big commercial. And I know that 80s references and Easter eggs are inherently part of the story, but the references to Warner Brother movies and other movies available on HBO Max just felt way over the top. Like they completely changed the first Easter egg from the book into a race in which they show off a T-Rex from Jurassic Park and King Kong. In the second Easter egg, they have to go through the hotel from The Shining, and the big battle is they have to fight Godzilla. All of these were added to the film and conveniently show off movies that you can watch on HBO Max. So it's pretty clear to me that when Warner Brothers purchased the rights to the book, it's not because they enjoyed the story. They viewed it as a way to advertise other films on their streaming service. So with this being one of your favorite movies, Arian, and as a leftist, can we enjoy and consume art outside of capitalism, or is capitalism inherently tied to all art that is consumed and created? If you do think it is the latter, as anti-capitalists, how do we navigate this? I'm excited to hear your take of the pod. See ya.
This was a complex one.
That's a great question, though. I didn't know. See, I haven't read the book, so I can see why. So, I think I've said on this podcast, I read this series called The Scythe. So it's a 3-book series, and they're talking about making it into a movie. And I'm kind of just reading the lore behind it and how they want to change things, and I can see how that could be frustrating. And so I didn't know that those things were changed from Ready Player One. So I was just looking at it from, this is a dope visual. Wasn't looking at it from the perspective of they changed it. Not only did they change it to, add value to their parent company, right? So it makes sense. I can see why you could be frustrated about that. But to answer your question, which I think is a great question, I go back and forth with this, right? Because if you look at like a company like Spotify, who is kind of like the hoarder of musicians, right? They pay their artists very little, even though the artists are the commodity there. They actually talked about incentivizing people to be a part of the algorithms to drive traffic towards their page. The more music you put on there, right? And so for a struggling artist, like it's not about I'm making art to feed the world with my perspective, my point of view. You're making art to eat, and so it dilutes your product in a sense. And I think that's my issue right now when you have any kind of capitalistic virtue around art. I'm not a fan of it. I think the art should be subsidized, because I think if you look at any ex-civilization that has been torn down, there's 2 things that we keep from it, or that we learn from it. It's like well, there's a couple things, but the main thing are their science and their art and their culture, right? And so it should be preserved. And I think that when money is involved, it always dilutes it. It's the reason why, to me, music now is demonstrably less quality. It's because it's easily accessible to everybody and the people who consume it. And so like the composition isn't as, I would say, in depth or as musical as it was once. And that's me coming from, like, my favorite era of music is like the 60s and 70s. That's not even my era. My era kind of helped dilute it. And so I think, yes, in to answer his question, which is a great question, Roddy, shout out to Buddy. I think it dilutes it. And I think the only way to counteract it, I think, is to do it because you love it. Don't do it because you have to, if you're able to.
Counterpoint.
Oh, of course.
Let's go back to Renaissance Florence.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the greatest secular creations of all time. What sponsored this creation of art? The Medici, the first well-known patrons of the modern world. They were a large banking family that paid people like Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and all sorts of cats to create some of the greatest art we've ever seen.
That's kind of what Arian
to my
said.
point.
They were being subsidized.
Yeah.
But are you saying subsidized as in a government sense?
Anyway, if we crowdsource and fund artists, like, because what you're saying is some of the best art we've known, right, was funded. So they didn't have to worry about eating food. They could just create.
They didn't have to worry about making their art marketable to a certain demographic or a certain subsection that could ensure that they would get paid for that art.
And so if you look at like Instagram, for an instance, right? Instagram is a horrible app that everybody's on, including myself. But it's algorithmically designed to incentivize volume. So the more you put on there, the more that your followers see of you, right? Rather than just having it chronologically. And that is, it forces artists to placate to that algorithm rather than just making what inspires them, right? And to me, that's just a dangerous way. Now I have to be a business manager as an artist. I have to be a marketer. I have to be, which a lot of people can't. It's a lot of different hats to wear, and so it dilutes the art, in my opinion.
I think it's just kind of like a necessary evil of where we're at right now. Where you're right. Like, music is not as complex as it used to be. It's not as interesting. It's become more formulaic. Like, if somebody can figure out how to write a song that perfectly hits all these formulas, then they know that they've got themselves a hit. And that takes skill too, though. Like, not to diminish that skill, because making something that's like massively popular.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like the old cat screaming at the clouds, where it's like I don't enjoy music now. There's great music being put out right now, but I just think demonstrably, like, it's the quality is diluted a little bit, because I could sit here and compose and make a beat on a laptop that can sell, right? Yeah. And I don't knock that. I'm all for anybody getting money in this economy. Do your thing. But I just think if
we actually did do that with Benny the Butcher at the bank.
That's facts. Yeah.
Me and Arian wrote that beat because we were like, hey, we need something that's going to sell.
That's facts. And we made it slap.
And we made it slap. That's right.
We made it slap. Yeah, that's a great fucking question. Shout out, what's his name? You remember his name? It's not important. Well, it is important. You're important, my guy.
I understand the nature of his question.
Jack from Chicago. Hey, if I'm ever in Chicago, man, I'm gonna tweet it out. You're gonna give me a this piece, and I'm gonna holler at you, though. We'll have a beer. That's a great question.
I understand the nature behind the question. I've just reached the point where sometimes I just like have to turn my brain off and just like enjoy the things for what it is.
1,000%.
And then you can think about it later and like have that conversation.
That's why I watch reality TV.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can watch Ready Player One and I can still be like, oh, that's cool. I recognize that character from another movie.
Yeah,
like, I get that dumb brain thing where I'm like, oh wow, that's the thing that I saw earlier on television.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever look at it like this is HBO trying to set. That's a little deep for me.
It's deep, but I think
I understand his point.
It's a fair question to ask.
I agree.
So that's the end of the voicemails for this week.
Yerp.
All right, hit us up. I like that yerp.
Thanks.
That was a good year.
It's a birthday yerp. My man.
Great yerp.
Hey, shout out to Avery, man. Swooped your boy at 11 o'clock, man. I appreciate you, cousin.
We roll out the red carpet for our people.
Picked me up in a nice little joint, too, man. I thought I was about to step out.
Let's go. What'd you pick him up in?
A Cadillac.
It was nice, dog.
Oh, very nice.
It was nice. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, that's the red carpet treatment, door-to-door service.
Absolutely.
We're gonna go over to the Braves game. I almost call it the Mets game. It's the Braves game tonight.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bet on the Braves for you, Big T.
Why do people in New York hate the Mets, bro? What is this shit?
It's like a, I don't know. It depends on where you're born. I feel like I think like a lot more Long Island likes the Mets, and like if you're more like New Jersey or closer to New Jersey, you like the Yankees.
Got you.
It's really an LIE, Long Island Railway versus the Metro North. That's what it is.
So it's your Mets, Jets,
Geographical,
and Islanders typically, right?
yeah,
Those are three that go together, and then there's Giants, Yankees, and Rangers.
right.
Those are the fans.
But I'm a Jets Yankees fan, which is weird.
That happens.
Yeah.
that happens. he
Yeah.
said.
I will say, I want to thank Game Time again. Our seats for tonight are awesome.
I can't
Are
wait.
they?
They are
I'm
awesome.
getting so
Yeah, I
lit.
looked 'em up.
I'm
They're
getting,
pretty
I'm
sick.
getting
They're
Ocean's
awesome
episode
seats.
lit.
All right, so you're listening to this tomorrow. Big T, give me a can't lose bet tonight that I'm gonna
Can't
make.
lose. I was actually looking at bets earlier to go.
Let's bet something. Let's do it.
I
as a podcast.
love no runs in the first inning, but it's minus 160.
Who's pitching tonight?
Max Fried and Chris Bassett.
I have no idea ever what's going on at a baseball
But
game.
if you want one
So
that's
fun.
like, I do like Ronald Acuna came back on Thursday and hasn't homered yet. He's plus 440. I kind of like that.
Ooh, I might do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might jump on that with you. Even though they did win the World Series without him.
True.
Do they really need him on the team? I don't know. It's funny, like Mets fans, I feel like when I'm talking about my love-hate relationship with the Commanders, there's a lot of that with Mets fans. They hated their owner for so long because he was just botching the team. And now they're like rejuvenated because they got Steve Cohen running the show.
I can understand that because when I was growing up, I hated Al Davis.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand him. He just whoever's fast, we draft him.
They're getting really high in my
No, that was literally it. Yeah.
You know why I hate the Mets? Because it's one thing having two different baseball teams in your city, but the Mets are literally just a rip-off Yankees. Their logo, their
It might be a hot
name,
take though, right?
but like it's like look.
I don't know enough about the rivalry, but it sounds like a hot
If
take.
you look at the Mets logo, it is the Yankees logo, just a little bit different in orange.
Yeah, it's not as cool. I know Jay-Z made that hat famous for me.
Yeah.
I like the colors of the Mets though. Orange and blue is an
I think
underrated
it's
color.
cheap.
Do you
I
know
think
why
it's
they're
like
orange and blue?
plastic.
I don't.
because of the Dodgers and Giants, which both left New York, and then they combined the orange and the blue for the Mets.
That's a fun fact.
Yep.
Did not know that. All right, well, catch us at the game tonight. We're going to bet on Ronald Acuna, and are we betting on no runs of the first?
I mean, we can. It's just minus 160.
Parlay
Kinda
was-
sucks.
What does minus 160 mean?
You would have to bet $160 to win 100. So like,
I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
right?
I like the
that
plus
means
side.
it's more likely to happen.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
Yeah.
What's not likely to happen?
So like Ronald to hit a home run is plus 440. That means if you bet 100, you'd win 440.
I'm down.
What do you
I'm
say?
putting a bill on that.
Yeah.
All right. And who is this dude? What number is he?
13.
All right. I'm rooting for Kev.
He's electric.
Let's parlay the no runs with something.
I don't hate that. I don't hate
Like
that.
maybe no runs with no. You probably can't do no runs with no hits.
Yeah.
Or do with strikeouts. No runs with strikeouts.
I don't know if
Can
you
we
can.
do that.
I don't know if you can parlay that. We'll
We'll
check
look
out.
into it.
We'll look into
Yeah,
it.
it's
We'll
a
figure
whole
it
nother
Craft
world.
up a
I
little
have no
parlay.
idea what y'all are talking
That's
about.
why I like the
out.
parlays.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my
That's
best
just
man
wild.
on it. Big T.
All right.
Research.
We'll come up with some good ones.
Figure it out. All right, we will see you guys on Thursday for nanodosing, and then we'll see you next week for macrodosing. And we may have just booked another big guest that Arian's going to be coming back for in a couple weeks. Can't wait for that one.
Faction.
And he'll be back for the science fair. He'll be up in New York.
And for the
Faction.
science.
Good
fair.
bet.
I'm gonna be Mets fan soon.
There we go. All right, love you guys.